seen too much. Oregon is one I think that a lot of people have seen plenty of times. This is a map that, you know, it's often cited as being ones where good teams go to kind of lose and to battle. Obviously, as we've already said, these guys have met here once before. We saw it go down, and we saw a 7-4, I believe, or a 7-3 in the favor of Xtreme Video, who instantly take out Thermite, a fair one to remove straight away. And in terms of bans, actually, we did see a lot of Supremacy taking out Clash and Monty almost consistently towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to their coach, Mr. Officer, and he was kind of just saying about how they weren't really playing heavy strats and they just don't like playing against shields, so pretty standard shields to take out, but we can already see a big difference in their strategy as they do ban a Nomad instead, but it is still going to be the Clash ban coming out from them. Xtreme Video are left with the final ban. I would imagine it would be a mirror considering where we are going to, but Xtreme Video do start out on defense, so potentially, you know, not banning the mirror here and maybe banning, you know, something a little bit weird, maybe like a Maestro or something like that, could actually put them off here. Let's see what they will ban through. It is going to be the smoke. So yeah, I like this. I like the smoke ban. That is interesting, and the fact we still have mirror here is going to be good. I think Supremacy could run like a really aggressive like blitz thinker strategy here. This is actually kind of like PTSD for me because during ESL Premiership, when I was coaching Epsilon, I had this idea to ban Smoke and Monty against Pengu, and they just brought Blitz and Finker and completely ran us through that basement defense. So we're actually going to see kitchen dining hall defense first of all from Xtreme. So this is interesting.
Yeah, so that I was instantly, my eyes kind of flew to that. Obviously, I think the only time I've really ever seen this play, it was a very particular one to be played as your third choice, but to open these playoffs where so much is at stake, this is purely a mind game. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is them going with, we're going to throw them off this first round. We're going to keep them guessing for the entirety of the rest of this play day. And, you know, I'm excited to see how they kind of set it up and how quickly Supremacy respond to what Xtreme are doing and what Xtreme are throwing down inside this kitchen hold.
My thoughts going forward in this, right? And you are, it's kind of what you are saying, right? You're trying to throw them off, but like, I don't think that Xtreme have the tactical advantage here. I think they have a very slight player advantage given their experience, right? We have like Yogurts and Renshiro, who are both Pro League winners. Yeah, we have like huge amounts of experience coming out. I mean, almost all these guys are Pro League players on both sides. So I still feel like the Xtreme are the slightly better like talent, but there's no way they have the tactical advantage here. I just don't see it happening. So Xtreme playing like this and playing really weird and, you know, just going to dining immediately and banning the smoke, I think is great. And I don't think that Supremacy are going to expect it at all.
Yeah, well, we can see that they've already started putting pressure towards that small tower. Dejus is stacked up as the Thatcher grenades roll towards Liven. He's keeping an eye on it as Lion actually starts to try and pick a bit of a fight towards the showers, but is just going to keep his eye towards the castle against a small tower. You can see they're instantly trying to kind of coalesce all that pressure down towards the small tower's side. They want to try and get that wall cracked open as quickly as possible, but there is a little bit of clear going across the top of dorms by the looks of it. Oh no, in fact, no, it's just the Roma that I caught in the corner of my eye. Livin is trying to bandit trick them as way. The drones are coming in thick and heavy. They will know that a man is dug in there, and they will know it is a bandit, but here comes the pressure from Sledge. And Ash trying to break as much as they can. Still a bit concerned about anyone looking over from the top of Big Tower on T3. The Cook grenade rolls over and blows the wall. But that is Bandit forced out of his hole, and they can start cracking this walnut open.
Yeah, they will start to crack that walnut, as you so eloquently put. And they'll slowly Habana it up. But there you see, with no thermite, this is much harder to actually try and get open. They've used a lot of utility to do it, but they have done it eventually. They've got quite a lot of utility still left to spare. The Capital Bolt on this great drone from Alive could be a really early kill coming out from him, but Lion's getting very aggressive with this right now. We've still got ADSs up, we've still got the Maestro cams up as well, so plenty of utility still available on the board here. And Lion is still peeking around to see what he can do. Ash charges will go down to get rid of that Maestro camera, and Tatis is going to be holding this very nice angle there. But Deja's, with the Holosight, has made his way into the showers. You really need showers control if you want to do a take dining.
Yeah, and you can see they're starting to close it down against it as well, but here comes more and more pressure. Castle Lion still buried very close to this firefight, and much closer than he thought he would be as Yogurts opens it up to take care of Tactis. who pushes straight in, and there is another one. Poseidon finds Yogurts, but Lion finds Poseidon with the trade. Almost picks up the Zeus, but manages to clear off as it is bat for bat here, and they are just trying to desperately find their way inside this point. K6 starts to creep up the Zulu, but it's going to be battling against the Bandit, who had no idea that was going to happen.
Liven just gets domed there, as now Supremacy have control of Zulu, and they all start to go for the plant. Ranchero and Voy still available up, and we still have Echo Drones on the board as well. No IQ coming up for Supremacy. They can't seem to deny this Echo Drone coming up, but Dacius is still going to go for the plant anyway. Ranchero with the drone is going to go through. He denies the plant. 15 seconds left to go on the clock. We still have both the Yokais up. This is not looking good. Voy's made a huge rotate all the way into small tower. This could be a great flank coming up from Voy as he moves all the way down into the hallway. Echo Drone still coming out here. Dacius finding a new place to plant down instead. As the timer runs down, and Ranchero will take the round. Beautiful from Xtreme Video, and they will take dining defense.
Well, for the first round to go to a timeout, with all the statistics that we threw down earlier about the amount of plants that went down between these two teams, they had the top 4 spots, maybe even 5 spots in total out of the entire league for getting the diffuser down as an individual count for Gogang, as it was. And yet the first round is a timeout because they just can't get that gosh darn thing on the floor. In a kitchen, no less. And here we go, Sternab, to rear stage Watchtower.
I really like this from Xtreme. The only thing I don't really like is they don't seem to be using the fact that they have a mirror to their advantage. Like, it's very rare that you get a mirror to Oregon, and it really does help your defenses. And I feel like it could help here quite a lot. Xtreme aren't using it, whether that's part of their plan and they expected the mirror to get banned out, or otherwise, I'm not quite sure. I think the mirror could be really good on Big Tower, honestly. Like, if you put it on the stairs facing into where the default plan normally goes, like, because you either normally plant rear stage, or you plant, like, right into T1 from, like, the east side door. So, you normally plant one of those 2 places. It could be good for you if you have a mirror window watching that east side plant. But we're seeing a meeting hold here. That's not completely unnatural coming out from Xtreme. And we do see it coming out as well.
Yeah, it seems like Ranchero's taken over the role of Bandit. Liven on the aid as well. Curious where he's going to be setting up potentially the last electro floor to dig in on this side of Attic, Tower side. But you can see a lot of them have gone very wide with the hold at first. Alive is pushing as fast and as hard as he can, trying to dig straight through kitchen and start putting pressure against these meeting hold as well, trying to close down split as quickly as possible and just get a little bit of control, a little bit of a hold inside the building. As you said before in the round, there's certain rooms and certain places that you need to lock down, and they just struggle to actually get that hold. So when it came down to it, Echo had a pretty easy time of just batting that diffuser away, but now there is much more fire and much more pepper. I'm expecting a frag grenade to just get locked over into Attic at some point, but the break of the window from Liven just misses the Sledge, who is exceptionally low health, and goes for the peek against it with the SMG-11, but he is in a very tight spot right now with a lot of eyes from a lot of different potential angles. He just needs to hold on and hope that his team can come and back him up sooner rather than later.
Liven with a great angle here. He's potentially gonna kill. He sees him, but no. Daxis just gets away with it. Liven on a very, very low HP, but is gonna be able to rotate right out of the attic and right back into sight. So he's still safe and sound, Fluke. It's all going well for him. We still got Bandit. Ranchero bandit tricking successfully. No nade coming up from him just yet. As Daxis is gonna throw yet another EMP out. Ranchero still holding down, but Yoga's gonna be the one who finds the very first kill of the round again, as K6 is gonna be punished for his over-aggression here on the roof. That's Capital off the board. That's a big kill and another big kill coming out. However, it's gonna be this time Daxis. He takes down Ranchero, and now he gets the attic as Deja just jumps in with a 2-piece. Deja's and just takes down Liven and Yoga's. These remotes are going to come down. Lion moving way back into meeting hole as Voy playing onto the back stairs here to see what he can do. And all of a sudden it's a 4v2 situation. You've lost control of sight, you've lost control of your life, you've lost control of what you're doing as Lion tries to peek around and regain that control into meeting hole, but seems to not be able to quite find it. Does find the down, does find the confirmed kill, but Tatis takes out his teammate. It's all down to Lion yet again. Now in a 3v1, however.
Well, you can see that they are setting up and creeping to just drop a drone. Goes for an accidental rotate there. You can see a little bit of panic and is giving heaps of noise as to where he is coming from. That is all just going to play into the hands of Supremacy, but they don't react, they don't respond. They're just trying to plant the diffuser, which they are going to probably get down very successfully, but this allows Lion time to creep a bit closer now. It does not mean this is easy in any facet of the word. Pushing up this very surrounded set of stairs against two remaining operators, pre-firing, and Poseidon is the one to shut Lion down there.
I was going to be insanely surprised if Lion was able to clutch that out. It was a good attempt from him. He got a 2-piece out of it. I think the very winning tactic out there was they just saying, okay, we have no control. We just need to push. And he just jumps in and gets a 2-piece.
Oh, yeah.
Like, straight off of the back of that, they win the round. In a round where I really didn't think Supremacy was going to take it. They didn't seem very comfortable attacking that big tower. They lost their Capital. They couldn't quite deal with the guy in T3 effectively without the Capital. And you seem to have lost the round at that point, really. When you lose all your utility. On top of that, there's lots and lots of utility being wasted around the kind of backside of Attic onto Master Bedroom. Renshiro held that position for so long. And really good teamwork between him and Liven to keep it all held down. But then Supremacy starts to push in. Dajus gets his entry kills. We see the Thatcher takes out the Bandit. You can't bandit trick there anymore. You've lost control of Attic, and all of a sudden, you've lost control of the site, basically. And your whole play echo off the site strategy, it's not going to work anymore.
No, credit where credit is due. You just breezed right through the tower there. Jumped in one window, killed 2 people, and then jumped out the other. Like the madman that he is, really kind of just lit that round up for them. As you said, they were really struggling to dig out T3, and it's often cited that whoever has control of the top of big tower is the one that has control of tower and has control of the point. It is such an important cornerstone of any attack or defense against that point. As soon as you can find a way to get that open and get that kind of in your hands, that's when the round starts to collapse, and that was exactly what Dajus did in a method that is rarer to be seen, but hey, if it's effective, you can't knock it. Getting some battle spots here as they start to close in. The camera taken down, and they obviously do have the IQ, which seems to be the pickup since Echo was such a devastation on the round, but here comes that immediate pressure from that southern main side, and Dajus finds Liven. Jaeger taken out before he can really do too much, I'm assuming, across on small tower. And now it's just a matter of closing even closer and closer towards the point. I was in kitchen underneath.
Yeah, he just couldn't cook up enough, I guess, as Renshiro is going to take down Alive and even it out into a 4v4. Jaeger for an Ash. I feel like you're still good there, but you've lost kitchen control at this point, and I feel like Renshiro kind of wants to get back into the kitchen here, just to keep that control and stop you from pushing onto those kids' room windows. And I feel like that's why he pulsed, so he can sick if the kitchen isn't deep, so he can retake it. K6 is going to try and pick it out, see what he can do. And Zvoy is going to open up this little hole just a little bit onto Jen. The Nitro from Renshiro, what was that? Straight onto the back of the delivery van. Not able to get anything just yet, though.
It was a bold attempt for sure, but unfortunately it did not come to fruition as Dajus is being droned ahead through Zulu. Going to just try and ping this frag grenade around the corner, potentially try and get someone playing on the top of the stairs, but no. Hit by the goo mine, slows him down just a tad and allows the defenders a bit more time to get themselves a bit more acquainted. Another C4 goes off to no avail. Not 100% sure what that was.
It's a pantry rotate.
Yeah, it's a bit of a late way to open that.
So does Lion not have impact?
It's not, but...
Oh no.
Oh, dropped into the firing line of Hibana, who had an easy time picking that apart, but Lion at least finds Tactis to bring it back to a 3-3. K6 is exceptionally injured, so pushing up against Elysian isn't going to make him feel any comfort, but Dajus is the one that somehow nobody suffers a scratch in a back and forth that really could have gone either way there based on a little bit of over peeking and over movement. Poseidon has managed to find his way to double window on Dining. Going to throw a couple of flashbangs, burn that ADS to allow that frag to roll around the corner from Dajus. Doesn't quite catch anyone. The Capital bow over the shoulder as Legion tries to find the fight. And put so many bullets, but they still standing somehow. Hibana and Capital, but as I said, they are pushing against Elysian with only 20 seconds. This is a hard place to be in.
Very hard place to be in as well, but Voy, he's got that 44 Magnum out. He's ready to take out some heads as K6 rotates all the way around to Armory. He should know exactly where they are. Nades go out, the pulse rotates, but Renshiro goes down. As the K6 is make his way all the way into the site. K6 with the double kill here as Lion gets kill of his own. There goes Just Lion with the double kill, trying to deny the plant, but no Poseidon. He gets off it and unfortunately will go down.
Well, that was two pretty heroic moments towards the end there. Managed to pull the fire out when they needed to take the dorms, which is a much more familiar hold, I think, for the first time. And they're going to go back to tower. They're going to completely forgo heading down into that basement, and they're not going to go back to the kitchen as well, which would have that's right, but no, they are going to go back to that rear stage and watch tower. Still no mirror on the board. Actually, very similar to the loadout to the one that they had before. Currently, Kaid is missing, and I'm curious to see.
Let me just think here. Let me go into my mind. You mind?
Okay.
You mind, Fluke? Just go back here. So I'm thinking. I have an idea brewing. I mean, think about the whole game of why they haven't gone laundry. I think it's because of the smoke ban.
You know, that's a fair shout. Obviously, they did remove it, and it is such a staple of holding on to those kind of main stairs and that laundry push. It becomes so important, especially when you know that something like Thermite is going to be taken to board. And, you know, I think that's a completely fair thing. They've gone, well, how about we undercut their tactics?
Well, I mean, also the Thermite ban means, like, attacking top floor becomes so much harder. But attacking the bottom floor with the Habana is fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think all the comments that have been previously made about, well, if Supremacy have anything over Xtreme going into this game, it's their tactics, it's the way that they play the game. And in a way of kind of countering that, Xtreme haven't gone, well, let's take apart your tactics. Let's pick apart the whole map's tactics. Let's take familiarity, let's throw it to the window, and let's put this on the most unsteady ground, because we've got a better sense of balance here, and we're willing to gamble to prove it. And so far, I mean, we'll have to see how it keeps translating throughout these, and whether, if it does, well, when it does go to the swap over, Supremacy's defense gets a little bit creative.
Drones activated.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, I like it. I like the fact that Xtreme have completely flipped around Oregon, a map that really isn't that famous for being able to be flipped around on. So, I like it. I like it. And it's working well for them so far on these. The defense is alive, going to try and get a kill on Leo, but Yogas, again, with a beautiful entry kill, is going to take out Alive and just, yeah, he's not having a good day today.
Wow, I had a mouthful of water just as that went down. The amount of pre-fire that went there, and they still couldn't shut that kill down. I almost spat water all over my keyboard, but Tactus finds Lion. Thatcher still on a mission to start shutting down, and it is Echo, the last man standing the previous time around on this point, that gets dropped first. Obviously, Yogurts is pretty critically injured, but still holds T3, and on the trade on the Ash for an Echo, the attackers are still pretty well off. Capitao is still on the board as well, who you've already said is so great at pushing against this top, but there is that frag grenade that just still has left. One has been burnt out.
Just peek it.
Mm-hmm.
Just peek it. Just Dacious, be brave. Just peek it. There we go. He's a brave boy.
He did it.
So he is going to peek it, and he's going to get that kill easy as that. Yoga's going to go down, and now it's going to be a 4v3. And that's also a T3 control as well, without having to use any capital pulse. So it's quite a lot of utility still available. Casey's going to see that, and hopefully he's going to repel into T3 as Day just jumps into this window on T2. And hopefully he should be able to pinch out Live in him. And here he goes. K6, come on. Jump. There he is. He's taking the leap. He goes in, and Live takes him down. That is unfortunate. Day just didn't jump in.
No.
Oh, no.
Waited and held the angle. Liven so low. Tactus finds a void in the meantime as well. We could still hear Bandit tricking in Attic, but Liven is on a ghost's breath of health. They're going to try and take care of any lesions. Poseidon pushes in, is going to try and get the diffuser down as well. They're just going to dig it in on rear stage. Renshiro hears that this is going down and wants to start closing down, but then just hears the swing above as well. There's the man on the top floor. Great response, but not a kill as he keeps rotating, and Dejus finds Renshiro, who's having an absolute stormer of a game so far. Liven, who in a lot of right minds shouldn't be alive right now, is just trying to get a little bit of revenge and start closing down T3, but it is a hard fight. You don't know where the man is sitting. He's gonna cook a grenade and just drop it down, caught by the ADS. But that does not matter when you also have bullets.
I think Day just owns Big Tower, honestly.
Oh, yeah. It's his tower. He lives there. Do we check that he's not there overnight? Because maybe we should, but 7-2 Dijus.
I still think he made a slight error. I don't know if the comms were off or if that wasn't their intention in the first place. I still feel like they should have jumped in at the same time to take out Liven, and he wouldn't have survived that, because you can't look two ways at once. I mean, maybe Liven can. I'm not really sure of his full capability. But we will see yet another big tower defense coming out from Xtreme. This is the only place that they've lost so far.
Yeah, and they've lost it twice. Both times the diffuser's gone down, and it's come back to a little bit of a attempted fragging retake. But, you know, so far you've got to kind of think, okay, well, where is it going wrong? Obviously, they're only throwing a little bit in terms of trying to hold T3. Normally, it is just Yogurts up there with a bit of ADS and a little bit more attention. Might not be the worst move there, but as you said before, bringing a mirror onto the field, getting a bit more solidity in your attic hold. So far, normally, that's only really kind of fallen when they've been able to push in and push more aggressively against you. But we've seen some great holds dug in with an ADS there, with something to just catch anything thrown through that window, and then with a mirror to just keep your eyes on the point, keep a bit of attention, and just keep a little bit of control without being in such a dangerous position.
So, moving forward, we see the exact same tactic coming out from Xtreme. And I feel like they've lost their early surprise tactical advantage now. The fact that they've done the same big tower defense 3 times.
Yeah, this is where, you know, it's the old adage about a team like Empire, who generally run the same strats over and over, and they'll keep trying to hammer it in. And a lot of the times it works because teams sometimes struggle with that when it comes down to these kind of gunfights and stuff. But you're up against a team like Supremacy that, as you said, has a very good tactical game. They're very good at kind of responding as a team and responding as a unit. And if you give them more and more opportunities to learn how to push a point, they're a good team to work that out. They're a good team to kind of crack that egg and work out the tactics to successfully push against your defense. Now, again, here is Bandit trying to trick Attic out. K6 drops down and fires the Capital Bolt, and Renshiro picks off Alive in the meantime, but Dijus finds Liven, and that is a little bit of Attic cracked up.
How does Renshiro get away with that?
Clearing the way.
I think Alive is just really not having a good day today, because that's the third gunfight that he's lost that he really should have won. But that's unfortunate. Renshiro's going to win out, and is actually now on the roam as well on the flank, so he can definitely do a lot of damage in there. But Tats has made his way into the site. Yogurts is going to punish him for it as Renshiro picks up yet another kill. It's going to be all down to Dijus and K6 to try and recover it. Renshiro has control of Master.
Still got 3 Shockwire in pocket as well, just in case. Just in case he needs to play those at any point.
I have to bandit trick again.
Might have to bandit trick, you never know. There comes some frag grenades out towards the man still on T3, and the amount of times we have said, who hath T3 hath the point, and you can see it in full motion here. They have not shut down the Jaeger. For all the times that they pushed this before, yes, once they ran through the point, Dijus with some unbelievable heroics managed to swing up and get that kill. It's a hard thing to do, but it worked. The second time they pushed him from the top, lost the man, won the trade, took T3, took the point. And this time, they haven't really gone for T3. They tried to push through meeting and via meeting and attic side, and, you know, it's not really worked.
Yeah, well, the slow peek comes out from Dijus, but he can't fight kind of kill correct. As Renshiro rotates all the way down onto the main stairs, and he's going to see exactly what he can do fighting wise here. K6 has recovered the diffuser, but they're running out of time. It's only 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Renshiro is still having this control on the main stairs. Dijus is desperately looking for this flank, but Renshiro is just here. He's wasting Dijus' time, and he's forcing K6 to push it to 2 people, and you're not going to win that fight. And now it's all down to Dijus on basically a sliver of HP.
Well, he's charging in, he's got the diffuser, and now he does no longer have the diffuser. Yogurts quickly shuts down a man that was on a low amount of health. And I am curious, after all the compliments I gave Supremacy about their tactical adaptation, I think they over-adapted a little bit too much on that third attempt at rear stage. I think they kind of shifted themselves a bit too far away from what was working, which was T3. But hey, look where we're going! The final defensive round, and we're heading down to that laundry and supply room. Let us see how this defense holds up. Bringing the Echo, the castle. A lot of familiar faces, to be fair, of what we've seen so far, but let's see how this goes for them.
Round number 6 getting underway. This is going to be the final defense, and it looks like my analysis is going completely out of the window, as we are going to go to a laundry room defense, as you said. So, what do you think of this exactly? Because without the smoke, this becomes significantly harder to hold. But there's no IQ actually from the attack, so maybe it's not going to be too bad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've got the Maverick, which is generally a necessity for pushing against this point now. They've kind of read it well. Okay.
They've got the Thatcher.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, you can kind of substitute the two together. I think what could work on their favor, and what seems to have worked on their favor, is when they almost catch Xtreme not really paying attention. They're kind of like paying half attention there. We've seen them get kind of picked up on the corners. We've seen them kind of get picked up on the
that's unlucky.
spots. Oh no. Or it is.
Did they want to reinforce it?
I think he can't move out of the square. He's stuck in a tiny square.
No. Oh. There we go. He's escaped the prison.
Escaped the square.
Okay, I guess we're good.
Oh, I guess we're good. Okay. I love them.
I really don't like this. I really don't like Void reinforcing the right side here. I feel like there's just no reason to do this when you know they're going to bring a Capitao. But that's not good.
That has already happened. Dejuz has already found one. And yet again, here is Xtreme trying to re-pick that firefight. The Echo, who is playing inside meetings, going to throw the drone out almost as bait, potentially. Or is this the camera on a set of eyes from the dead to pay attention as they start to go and try and clear across main and creep up above, see if they can catch anyone. And look, you can see Xtreme are being aggressive. They're trying to push against these peaks and push against this information. And here's more firefights. They go for that added control. Lion finds Tactus, however, and that is Thatcher off the table, but Dejuz finds Renshiro at least. And alive! Has woken up and found a lion at the end of his bullets.
He's fully alive now, it would seem.
Alive, living his life.
So, Boyd is going to be playing onto this backside mirror here, as we do see 4 members of Supremacy still up and on the table. And Lyman playing insanely aggressively here. He's still got that M870, the good old trusty German shotgun. He's going to realize this isn't a good plan. He's going to come all the way back. Does actually have a hole here. There you go. Now he has a hole for the nitro. So this is better.
Better hold. They have a minute 10 left on the table, and they're generally pushing 4 against 2. Dejuz still just working hard. I don't think he's stopped sprinting, pre-firing out any potential kind of rotations or movement, which, to be fair, they've already caught a couple of the Xtreme players in as they start to smoke out against that mirror. The diffuser is going down, and all the relevant rotation angles are currently being held. Diffuser dug in and planted behind Washer instead of on top, as another bolt goes down, forcing them towards the basement corridor side as they find themselves just moving into firefight. And Alive and Dejuz lock this off at 3 apiece.
And that is why the new Capitao is absolutely horrendous to deal with. Look at how much area denial that guy has now. That guy can cover half of China.
We hope he doesn't. Capitao, if you're listening, please don't.
Please don't cover half of China.
But keep continuing to cover the laundry room.
Exactly. So
we swap halves. We swap halves now. We go to the defense, and we just have a quick look at the stats. Dejuz 11-2-3. He is really making a mark here. Obviously, we said Alive got his first 2 frags in that last round. A player that is normally storming ahead on the kind of frag board. In fact, he had the joint best KD with K6 on the team so far. Just was only a meager +10 KD across the season so far. And yeah, he's kind of struggled to get off the board here, Alive.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. For a guy called Alive, he spent most of the rounds dead.
We'll have to ask him about that later. We'll have to dig in. We'll get our French sister team at E6 to get their scoop on that.
Now this is what I prefer. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. I think what he's going to do here is I think you can like bolt up and you can put the mirror like above. Maybe? Like you can put a mirror above this mirror. I don't know how it works, but I've seen people do it.
Maybe we'll see. See, this will be revealed here.
I know.
No, they're just going to double mirror.
Okay.
Just the casual double mirror. When you said this is what I like to see, I pictured, you know the meme where it's like looking away from it. I hope someone makes that of you.
This is what I like to see. Yeah.
I like to see. But here comes immediate pressure towards Big Tower. Looks like they want to try and get control of it. Quicker than anything, they want to kind of shut down Rome and shut down any trade. Alive is in an instant firefight against Yogurts over the main hatch as well. Push deep towards Showers as Yogurts goes to clear above. Red Shiro is going to actually dig towards Feeding. Doesn't know how close he got to putting bullets into Dejus, but he's going to start firing back.
I really like the Finker play here. I did say before we played, you know, people could go back in the VOD if they don't believe me. I did say that I think with the smoke ban, there's going to be a lot of Finker used. So, and while Supremacy didn't do it, because I don't think they're a team that really change up the tactics of their operators that much, I think the Xtreme are going to do it. I kind of like to see a Blitz here as well. I mean, like, Blitz can be really good. Although, maybe if Falco was still on the team, we'd still see Blitz.
Oh, yeah. See that Lion has picked up that sledge roll, puts more bullets into shoulders, but Alive drops Renshiro. And that is the LMG Finker taken off the table first. Starts pushing up through dining and kitchen. And he's actually going to rotate, pull back, and pick up an old mine. And try and bring it to a slightly better position as they go and get a little bit more control over Zulu. The Rome clear that started so ferocious and aggressive has seeming to tapered off. With only a minute left, Juggernaut at least shuts down Legion, gives them a bit more freedom now. They start to try and hammer some pressure downwards, but Tactus finds Lion and Sledge is off the table now.
That's not a complete disaster, but I know Lyman's probably upset about that one, so in his mind it'll be a disaster. But 3v3 as Void does take down Dejus. And now, it's still looking pretty good for Xtreme, honestly, because they still have like quite a lot of control. And now they're pushing into blue. This like backside is much easier to take, especially when you have a Capitao who can just sit here. And Tactus is gonna die if he does this. Like maybe he'll get a kill, but I feel like Yogus are gonna push down here, and they're gonna push from the hallway and the door at the same time, potentially Capitao bolt. And I feel like Yogus is gonna what?
Wow.
K6, he's just the best. As he just pushes in, he gets the headshot onto Yogurts, and the shotgun comes out. They had no idea that he was there. Oh no. Tactics and K6 finish it off. What just happened?
Yeah, that peek down that corridor, and he got the second kill doing the same thing as well. Oh, K6, that is your place to hold. It seems like Supremacy, each member is marking their territory with different parts of this map and going, this is what I control. This is where I win the firefights. Stop trying to take me here. But to be fair, for again, it's been back and forth. This has been the first time Supremacy have taken the lead, and the first time a team has actually taken 2 rounds in a row. I'm
really surprised they won it, because also we need to think about the backside tank was the really smart play there for Xtreme, right? Because it's this much closer entangled area. It's much easier to drone out people and see what they want to do. But at the same time, you don't have that backside mirror there, right? So it's going to be really hard to actually get info there as well. So in my mind, Supremacy lose that for a backside take, especially when you still have Capitao up on the board. But then K6 wide peaks to get the entry kill. They had no info that the mute was playing so close to the door, and Void just dies, he moves in, and at that point you've lost the round. So yeah, it's kind of confusing. It's also confusing that they would do that and they would leave the E-box hatch soft.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the kind of push and where it started to fall apart was, as you said very early on, it's nice to see Finker on the table. It was dropped off first, and you can instantly see the wind of the sails of the attack fall apart. Alive finds Lion within the opening 10 seconds. Supremacy are not playing around. They are really leaning into throwing Xtreme. They're trying to push them and prod them and put them in uncomfortable positions and taking care of that sledge so early and kind of limiting the soft destruction capabilities. Now it's going to put a bit more pressure on Void, a bit more pressure on Yogurts, who gets taken as well, though they might not actually confirm the kill. K6 is creeping around slowly. There's the pre-fire across. Doesn't see the man rotate, but is listening, and the angle is being held a little bit by Liven. As Yogurt at least gets back to his feet.
That could have been a beautiful bait if K6 has actually seen the rotate happen, because he could have pushed and Liven would have gunned him down. But this could be a 5v4, and that new revive is horrible to deal with. Like, downing someone now is so much more devastating. Only having 20 HP, that's not good, Liven. Just step away from there. There you go. As the drones are going to come out into Attic. So they should know that someone is at least going to be playing Attic because of the side that he has reinforced. And yeah, he should be going pretty well for him. Maybe Supremacy have really good map control right now still.
Yeah, they kind of opened it with a bit of aggression and haven't had to suffer too much in terms of that because, as I said before, it's really just slowed down what Xtreme is trying to do. Obviously, rippling the Twitch as well has made a player normally very ferocious in Yogurt's kind of second guess and play a little bit further back, especially when you're going against some of these operators that could be the end of you. There is more and more pressure coming as they start to try to close it down across Attic. It is obviously half opened, but we've seen them going for these wide peak Supremacy. We've seen them peak things that they maybe shouldn't be peaking, and it is working for them.
Yeah, it has gone very, very well for them. I would argue that. But especially people like K6 is just so confident in their peaks. It can work very well for you. But Tatis is going to get very, very aggressive with it, but it's going to be alive. He picks up the kill onto Liven, and now that is Capital Bolts off the board. That's a huge pick, but no, the ADS is there, and Shiro wastes a frag, gives away his position, and he goes down as well. Unfortunate there, Tatis jumps out to confirm the kill. K6 gets a kill of his own, Void goes down, and now it's all down to Yogurts in a 1v5 situation. Still clutchable, but 20 seconds left to go. He has Diffuser though, Fluke. I wouldn't count him out yet.
You know, we've seen the man go down. This could be the Cinderella story of our time. 14 seconds. Can we see something that the history books will forever write? No. No, we will not.
Yogurts will continue to be a footnote in someone else's history book. It goes down, and Supremacy are dominating on this defense right now.
Yeah, that is, again, third round in a row for them, making that gap wider and wider and wider, but it's not over yet. Xtreme are a team that light up. Obviously, they've already talked about the kind of high-end experience that both these teams are up with, and you don't kind of get to the top without being able to hit the bottom sometimes, and these are guys that can kind of pull themselves back up when things start to go a little bit wrong. So I think we're very much deep within this game in this first map. Kitchen Dining Hall is where we're going to start to see, I'm going to say, maybe some shakes in Supremacy's defense. We've already talked about how they're great as a tactical lock-off team. They've had two very comfortable holds there. If there was one, we're going to start to see gaps in that. It's going to be these lesser common points.
No echo.
There is not. There is definitely not. There is a Vigil. But it's the Juz. And I'm thinking he just wants to go back to Big Tower at this point.
Let me take you back a little bit here to when we saw Oregon during OGA. And we saw Payne play on this. And I remember, I think it was GDN from Payne. He played Vigil on this site. I don't know what happened, but somehow he got an ace. Just like running around on the backside and just killing anyone who tried to contest him. I think it was against FaZe. So, you know, I mean, you don't knock it. I think maybe apparently it can work. I like this mirror setup from Alive.
Oh yeah, the old upsy downsies, I think that one's called.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
I think in the strategy book, yes.
We look in the Supremacy strat book and it says, oh yeah, Alive, play the upsies downsies.
Oh wait, it will be let upsies downsies. They have the castle walls set up on the small tower. Lion is going to start digging straight across, not wasting any time. They want to crack this wall open. They are marking these spots, clearing the space to do it there. You can see that they've got the Maverick as well of Void. Could do something quick and fast here. Could go slow, but Showers is suffering at first. Here comes the hole to be burnt out. They are making... Yeah, you can see they kind of put that one together, giving themselves a clean burn line there, so they can cut it right along the line where they need to, save the torch, and make it a smoother transition into breaking that open. Make it clear
not only that, but it actually makes it quieter if you do it like that as well. If you destroy the soft wall bit. So that's quite cool. I like that. And I very, very rarely see teams do that. So yeah, maybe they just do smart ones. But there we go. The Capital Balls do come down, and Lyman will pick up Tatis. And yeah, he's just so horrendous to deal with right now. And that is also why you destroy the soft wall, so you can see where the wall actually ends. So you can open the whole wall with Maverick.
Yeah, it's a nice way. It's the slow, soft, sensual thermite that you've read about in those national magazines. But Yogurts is getting the spots down on Dorm's stairs of Poseidon. He's just going to actually pull and creep a little bit further away. Dezures, though, opening that potential ace, running and roaming around here, finds one. And it edge off the table. The pings are coming out of the man hanging over the side, trying to bait them back up, but Ivan went a little bit high there and then dropped down. I think that's the smarter move there, because if there's one thing we can say about Supremacy so far this game, they have not been playing the slow and steady game. They have been looking for these fights with aggression. Maverick's still just doing a little bit of artwork there as he's trying to dig more and more sightlines, more and more spots and possibilities. As Lyvan, they want him to be able to fire those bolts straight on through against those mirror windows.
Yeah, and the bolts will start to go out. There goes Smoke as Poseidon. So with this prone angle, see what he can do with the lost showers control. Volleyball triangle for the plant. Nitro comes out from Alive and from Poseidon, but only one of them will find a kill. There goes Boy as Lyman picks up yet another one. There goes out Dejus. And it's a 3v3 situation, but there's so much control here for Xtreme as Yogas just loses the fight, but K6 will take down Alive in a team kill. And it was all down to Poseidon. You know, 1v2 he sees one in the showers, plans going down from Ranchero. He has to make the fight work for him, but Ranchero's looking the wrong way. Oh no, it's all down to Lyvan now. He just picked up the diffuser. He goes for the revive here. Poseidon is going to be caught out. That's unfortunate. And pre-fires go down. Poseidon picks up Lyvan. It's all down to Ranchero. And Poseidon in a 1v1 is not too long to go. The pre-fires come down. Ranchero will score it out and deny the clutch to Poseidon.
Well, from a team kill into trades, into downing and picking back up. What a way to end a round that was... Well, it was a battle for sure, but as I said, that was the one that was going to be the tough hold. They can now go back to laundry and supply. I am curious to see if Xtreme from the northern side again, or if they try and go back to what is often cited as the old familiar push. Fana, so...
Have you made a strat book or something, and like you have all of these names for the strats?
You know, this is actually, I've stolen this strat book. Every
Right.
time, you know, I know I've said I've never been to any of the kind of invitationals or anything like that, but I go in disguise and I steal every team's strat book. These are all the names you ever hear me call, all official strat book names.
Official strat book.
Some of these are from Chate's book, and GT's book, some of them, you know, from, I've got Jess. Book here as well, and you know, this is all official stuff that I use. I use the best because I steal it. I steal the best.
Obviously. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. It's good to have reliable information.
Yeah. So
are we still going to see another double mirror? I feel like we are.
I don't know. They've kind of put that one a little bit off center, but it is still much more center than it was before. So whether they do that higher up one that you referenced before, or Poseidon just kind of runs around in a little bit of a circle down there. Which
so they've left E-Box soft again.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that like they're not really necessarily holding on to meeting for very long, and they don't have a rotate or anything like that. But Lion's just going to run in and kill someone. There goes Tatis already in blue. The drones are coming out. Xtreme are just in immediately. The finger buff is out as well. Xtreme have already got a kill on the board. That's already a nitro off the board as well from Tatis. And wow, yeah, Xtreme with the insanely aggressive early play. That is not good from Tatis.
No, but to be fair, the last time that this kind of went down when we saw this place played, there was a really early push and a really early kill against Xtreme. They suffered, and this is them, as we said before. This is a team that knows how to keep their mental head in the game, how to respond to these kind of issues, and start applying that pressure back and kind of not going, okay, well, this far down, this is how we fix this. This is how we counter this. Using the LMG to try and open up some sight lines and put more and more pressure here. Dejus is going to peek against it, and Ranchero manages to react just in time and tear that man in half.
I feel like he peeked that really weird, and I feel like he peeked it not thinking there was going to be someone still holding blue like that. So Yeah, it's unfortunate, but they're not going to do the double mirror. They have a backside mirror, but they've reinforced the wall you normally put using that mirror. So that's kind of confusing.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I guess obviously the last time we saw that, they were dug in. They're worried about the return of this LMG that, yeah, again, is trying to creep around. Pops a couple of early shots against it, but Renshiro at this point is really just doing some home renovations here. Kind of finishing off the construction that needed to be done. And tearing open that wall with the LMG as here comes the stack. Obviously, as I said, they didn't have Habana, but they did pick 2 Habana from the Maverick, which obviously can change the pace of the push there. They're going for something less slow and steady as Yogurts finds Alive, easily the best that they have looked so far on this attack. Xtreme, as they have a minute left to try and push against this point.
There's still nitros available though, and I would still be very worried if I was Xtreme right now because you have not a huge amount of utility available to you, and you've still got mirrors to deal with as well, and you still have the defenders to push out, but Yogurts is going to do exactly that. And there goes Poseidon, and it's all down to K6. He gives the position away, and Lion will take him down, and Xtreme Video will take round number 10. I think there was so many tactical errors by Supremacy that like they reinforced the backside, and I think you're right that they had intended to do the double mirror, or like maybe the like top bit mirror that I was talking about. But when the kill came through on blue, maybe they were worried about a quick rush, as you said, like through blue. So they just put the mirror down, and it's kind of like forgive and forget. But like that is not amazing use of utility because you normally play that mirror so you can see E-Box, but you can't see E-Box if you reinforce the wall that you're looking into for that. So it's still good for intel. I mean, you can peek off the hallway from it as well, but yeah, I'm really not sure about that one. So Supremacy, quite a few tactical errors there that led them to a defeat early on, but we are going to see them go back upstairs, which was a much more successful site from last time as well. As to see round number 11 getting underway, and we're all tied up at 5 apiece here.
We are, and that was the first flawless round I believe we've seen all day so far as well. Obviously all of them still standing by the end, but I'm curious to see if Supremacy roll into the aggression a little bit more. Obviously this is where they got a very early frag here. I believe it was Alive going against towards top of T3 or Big Tower. Or if they kind of fall back a little bit, because obviously as we've just seen, Xtreme have answers for those speedy pushes and those speedy movements, and they're very good at getting the results that they do want to get. So, you know, those kind of plays might not be the best move now, and it looks like, yeah, they're going to be a little bit more hesitant, a little bit more, well, we say conservative against those spawn.
Hopefully, yeah. And we're seeing Thinker pretty much every single round from Xtreme. Still, like, kind of would like to see the Blitzer. I get why they're not taking Blitz, but you can be pretty good for that West main take. So, I mean, Shields can be pretty good in general for that kind of thing, but maybe we'll see a Blitz maybe in the future, maybe if we get to OT, but not right now, it would seem, as Xtreme do begin their attack. But last time, this was so convoluted, it was so like all over the place, and I feel like Xtreme didn't quite expect. I don't know. This lineup is kind of weird for an upstairs take.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how Voice starts sticking across this attic, where they're going to try and kind of funnel as much as they can through it. Obviously, at this point, I believe they had already lost 2 operators, if not 3. So they're definitely getting themselves a bit more better set up as Tactus kind of moonwalks whilst gunning with that Elder, trying to hope that they catch someone. But Poseidon, again, you can see a lot of movement from Supremacy's defense. They're kind of pulling forward and pulling back and kind of trying to find the response. Poseidon wants to hold on underneath for as long as possible. Obviously, we've seen the C4 usage pretty consistently from Supremacy's defense, and this is where it's going to strike. Swung in, Lion finds Tactus. Almost finds the double here. I'm still waiting for the C4, but Yogurts finds Poseidon underneath. That's why it didn't go off. Lion finds the juice as well, and what a sudden push that was. Alive, kind of caught in the deep sides of Armory. They do manage to find Yogurts at least. There's the C4 underneath, goes off, no bites. And Alive has to rotate underneath as Liven is free to just get that diffuser down.
Yeah, and he will do so, and he's still got Capital Bolts on the board after a defuse. This does not look good for your ability to try and retake. K6 is stuck onto the double waste there, so Capital Bolts are going out now, doing their work. Incendiary is not looking good, right? Sure, it takes down alive. It's all down to K6 in a 1v4. Close situation, no Nitro available. As he's just going to go for the spray, but Lion will shut him down before he can do anything else. Xtreme will put themselves on match point.
Wow. What seemed like pretty piecemeal attacks to what we are seeing now. This is almost two different extremes. Obviously, they've now responded with 3 rounds in a row of their own. Play from both teams. They're really answering each other. They're finding the gaps and the holes in the attacks and the defenses that they needed to do. And you know, if we talk about the swing of momentum, it is currently obviously in the hands of Xtreme, but 3 rounds ago, it was a completely different story. So this is a map that I'm still very much in the camp of. I think it can go to OT. I think it can go either way at this point.
There's a separate camp for that.
Which is that camp?
Well, I'm in the camp that Supremacy is supposed to win the whole match. We have tea and biscuits. So
I'm the one. I'm at the camp where we just wear the shirt that says "I hope both teams have fun." And
right,
that,
yeah.
That's the
My
camp
bad.
that
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who wins, guys, as long as everyone learns something on the way. Isn't that what you're really here for?
It's the friends you make.
Who cares about the money? So, we are going to get into match point for Xtreme, but this is kind of where we were expecting them to be, even though they pulled out some quite unorthodox tactics for Oregon. And we've seen a smoke ban, which is kind of unusual for Oregon. Even though we've seen all of those things, we have now seen Xtreme put themselves on match point. I wouldn't be very surprised to see them take the map, and then see Supremacy take the next 2 maps, considering that this is the only map that Xtreme has beaten Supremacy on. And because of that tactic, I thought that Supremacy was going to ban it, obviously.
Yeah, but in fact, they did the opposite. They made it their choice. They really love playing Oregon, apparently. And to be fair, as you said, out the gate, they were rolling with strategies that they don't normally do. They were playing and doing things that they, in terms of Xtreme even, that Xtreme weren't normally doing. It was Xtreme's pick. And it was nice to see that they were shaking up it, but at the same time, Supremacy have definitely been more involved in this than normally. There's Alibi getting, well, the Alibi bait getting 1. Yogurts finds K6 as the response, and Tactics finds Renshiro as well. And down but not out, Supremacy, as they start to try and battle against it. Yogurts has taken control underneath. Wants the Jaeger to just come a little bit wider, but Dijuz is well aware of what's down there. And Poseidon might go for a C4. Wow, what a gauntlet that Yogurts just survived.
I honestly don't understand how he wins that, but he will win that regardless of, oh god. It's like one of those situations where we have wall hacks and we know what the situation is. But yeah, unfortunate. There we go. As Alive will try and rotate all the way back out. Just about halfway through into the round now. We've lost the Thinker, we've lost the IQ. Both the yellow operators are down and out for the count. Xtreme really not looking too good on this attack, but they do still have a decent amount of utility up, and they've got an okay amount of time. Also, you know, there's no Nitro on the defense now.
No, I mean, to be fair, from when, as soon as we started to see that movement happen, I was sure that would have been a C4 kill, and by whatever grace of split second and C4 radius that saved Yogurts' life there, you know, that's just the way it kind of goes. Managed to drop an Alibi in exchange for the drone, but that means that wall, until kind of find another way to shape around with the Maverick, is going to remain uncracked open, but he's the guy to do it anyway. Alive is actually pushing from rear stage back through meeting, and here comes another Alibi. Just replace.
What is happening here? He's like slowly racing his munitions, you know? Oh, what? Oh, you're really gonna win those Yogurts. But there we go. Dejas is gonna take him down. It's gonna be a 4v2. Liven and Void left remaining. This could very much go to overtime. And Liven is gonna be pushing through on. What is this? There you go. There's the flashbang. He burns the ADS. So now they know they can push through this doorway. Capital Bolts are going to come down. The brunettes come out, but it's going to be too little too late. As Tactics is is going to try and suppress down this whole way, but Void shuts down the Live on the flank. Live moves all the way in. Dacius is out of it. He has control of the side. He gets another kill. Oh my god, it's all down to Tatis. And the plan is starting to go down. Tatis has to deny the play. He takes out Void. He sees the defuse, and there we go. Tatis clutches the round. 2v1 or 2k to finish it out. And Supremacy will take us to overtime.
Do you know what I noticed? I noticed when the push was coming on, Alibi wasn't moving. Alibi was pretending to be an alibi.
He was trying to pull a Macy J on him.
For the entire round in front of double. And it works. I love
It's
this
beautiful.
game.
Yeah, as you said before, can't argue with the results. It worked perfectly. Yeah. I feel like Tatis didn't think he was going to get away with it, but I'm amazed he stuck with it. Despite that. But there we go. Yeah, he takes down Void, and he has all done it for him. And that's like the insanely rare, like in ranked, you know, you see people get away with it all the time. But in competitive, you hardly ever see it happen. And I think as well, the fact that he threw 2 alibis down outside of out the window, kind of like, okay, yeah, so that's the last alibi on the side. There's no way that this guy is stood still. But it doesn't work until it works, right? So
well, that's it. For those curious about why you see Alibi picked normally at the minute, it's because of her guns and her gadget. Less so. Obviously, you can kind of move around with those guns very nicely. There's impacts there as well. A lot of people have said when Mozzie is freed up that he might actually fill that role with his guns. Kind of roaming utility as well. But
are those the professors of Siege?
These are the professors of Siege. Oh no.
Someone wrote their thesis that Mozzie may just mix things up. So, what do you think is going to happen here? I mean, having the defensor, we haven't actually seen either side be favored yet.
No, it's balanced out perfectly in a 3-3. The first half was bat for bat. The second was I'll take half, you take half. And, you know, now it's kind of finding its way back around to... Both teams are still trying to find an answer for what the other's doing.
We knew this was going to be a close game, right? We knew that both of these teams, very, very experienced. They have a lot to play for here. And, yeah, there's a lot to do here. And this is one of those maps where it can be very close. But despite that, we have still seen it being a pretty interesting map so far. I'm not a massive fan of this lineup from Xtreme, but I understand why they would do it.
Yeah, that's fair, obviously, with the kind of the push that they're trying to make and have been trying to make this entire time. You know, they're one team, and we even commented on it when they were playing on the defense, when Tower wasn't going so great in their favor, and they didn't change anything. They bought exactly the same lineup, they put them in exactly the same spots. They're kind of doing the same thing on attack here, and if Maverick goes down first, that could be a pretty big disaster for any potential push against Meeting.
So, Alive is going to be holding down in the meeting hall here, as Void, again, is going to be using this Maverick tactic, it seems, to just open up a little bit of the attic. And this is going to be able to pretty much get you control of the attic, as Aliven is going to pick up... Wait, what? Did he just get that kill from the window, aiming into attic?
Wow. What a way to find a person. The alibi pings off on the side of roof. They know people are hanging there. There goes Valkyrie underneath. Ready with that C4 yet again, opening up the Deagle hole that we've seen used pretty effectively. Nice way to just get a clearer throw, but Yogurt is obviously well aware that as soon as they swing in, they will be met by a C4. Alive, however, finds Renshiro in the meantime, shut down from the top of small tower. Now they kind of get themselves a little bit more breathing room with 40 seconds. They're rotating back round via Armory. They're keeping that eye across attic, which is where the only place they've really lost anyone so far. And Xtreme have to start thinking of how to finalize this push and finalize this attack.
So, let's see how it is going to go down. A 4v4 situation as firebolts are going to start to come down and smoke bolts are going to come down as well. Liven could just hop through here and get a kill, but no, Lion's going to move all the way in very, very deep. He doesn't have defused, but Liven does, but K6 sneaks in behind them and gets a double kill. Lion and Liven both out of it. Yogus gets down Poseidon, and now it's a 2v2 situation. Void gets all the way in, but no, will get shut down by Tactics. It's all down to Yogus. He doesn't have defuse, he's gonna have to try and frag out. He gets all the way in, but no. Supremacy will hold on. They'll take round number 13 due to time, and they'll put themselves on match point for the very first time this series.
Well, that is 3 rounds over this. Have gone to times as well. We kind of expected a lot of diffuser downs. Obviously, we've already said between these two teams, top 4, if not 5 spots of most diffuser plants throughout this entire season so far in EU. Obviously, the team that came through, if we look at the stats throughout the season, Xtreme Video were in the top place, 6 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. Supremacy in 4th place with 2 wins and 2 losses. And yet, they look like they are very evenly matched here.
So, overtime match point, looking very, very good for Supremacy, but I went to see their attack, and Xtreme have pulled out some pretty unorthodox strategy. Now I feel like Supremacy have very much caught up to what's going on and should be able to deal with it appropriately. The last time that we saw a dining hall defense, it was very interesting, the fact that it came down so close, with Poseidon almost clutching out as the Valkyrie, but this time we're going to see Xtreme defending it. So the last time we saw this as well, we also saw the kind of Maverick strategy to open up the door. Yes. So they sledge it, so you can clearly see the lions, and also once then the Maverick is done, it doesn't just turn into a soft wall; it just gets completely.
Yeah, they give themselves a better eye, they give themselves a better look, and obviously we've seen the kind of double hard destruction there. Poseidon rolling with the Havana, but they do have that Maverick. We've already said, and put can kind of dig holes through. They know and assume Liven is going to be dug in there. Obviously, when they did play this, Xtreme won this point, and it was the only one that they currently have an 100% success ratio on. They do not go back here afterwards as defenders go. But at the same time, as we said, Supremacy have woken up to this kind of tactics and these strategies. They've got a bit of a better idea of how they can kind of start pulling it apart. Lion looking for some firefights there via showers. Tactis sees the end of a gun and sees more than that as the man rotates very boldly. Lucky to not suffer any bullets in his legs there as Castle, who was playing pretty aggressively last time as well, Lion, yet again finds himself just going at and going against the attackers as they get closer and closer.
So now a 5v5 still, as nice combo coming out there with K6 putting down the Capital Ball, still not able to quite open this up yet. Tactics not in position, but there we go. EMPs are going to come out, they should be able to open up the wall effectively, not using that Maverick strategy that Xtreme were, but we'll still open this wall up regardless, as Lion will just smack down Dejas and turn it into a 4v5. The wall will get opened up, however, regardless of the small tower. And all of a sudden, this isn't looking too good for Xtreme. The bathroom control is in... Sorry, the showers control is the favorite of Supremacy as Poseidon takes down Lion. Now, not looking too good at all. So, Voy has managed to actually rotate the way down, but he gets thrown out. He's not going to be able to regain control of the meeting hall just yet, as he's still playing upstairs where he can. This is not looking good for Xtreme.
Here comes Alive, who is angry that soft barricade has gone up and starts putting bullets through it, but none of them catch it into Voy. It was enough time to kind of find themselves a bit more comfortable. Obviously, Renshiro took this round last time with those double echo drones, and he's getting himself in a little bit closer. Here's it being planted. Here's it going. Manages to ping one, even with the cover, and there's the wide. Gets into a battle there. Yogurts finds K6, but Tactus finds Yogurts. The diffuser is being planted again. There's the push. Does Liven manage to find one man, but the diffuser is down. We're in post-plant situation here, and it is a 1 versus 2 against the defenders. They are going for a counter. Has a long distance to travel here. Maverick, will they be able to make it in time? Consistent spots coming out. Pre-fires, but no. Won't even get close, unfortunately.
Damn, so we've actually gone all the way to overtime, match point, maximum OT. We've gone to the very limit here, Fluke. This is round number 15, and we're only on the first map of 2 best-of-3 series.
It's going to be a long night. I'm excited for the long night, and excited that I have bought quite a lot of unbranded caffeinated products to get me through it.
Takes
No
me back to
brands
Croatia.
here. Oh yes. Kitchen dining hall from Supremacy, and as you said before, last time we were here for them, it was shaky at best for both teams towards the end.
It definitely was. I think like kitchen dining hall is such a weird defense when you're in this situation with no thermite. I still feel like Supremacy could have used the same Maverick strategy, and it's basically the same using a thermite, but now you're not having to deal with any of the bandit tricking. It saves you quite a lot of time. So, yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Supremacy didn't do that, but we still saw him get the plant down. But the fact that Alive is so far away, I mean, he had to be there to cover the flank, and he did so effectively, but the fact that he does that, they know he's there, they know they can go for the counter fuse, it's not good. But we will see now, overtime match point, we'll still see a dining defense go out, and yeah, I think Xtreme is just going to do the same thing, but we do see Renshiro now on the glass. Interesting from last round as well, Renshiro was playing on the Echo rather than Lion. So we've had a little bit of roles change up. You're still seeing Yogurts consistently on the Twitch, however.
I am kind of excited to see that. Obviously, the first time been taken today across this map. Renshiro, we know, swing that rifle very, very well. Curious to see how much of that kind of boils down to this potential smoke push. You kind of look at the slew of operators they have on the board. We've seen a heck of a lot of Capitao use with his current proficiency within most lineups here as well. There's just a lot of possibility for this utility-based push as they swing through into small tower. Xtreme Video not wasting too much time, but they are going to catch any potential rotate there, which potentially has cost them previously.
The Twitch drone is going to be coming out here as Void just going to be beating down the small tower doors. This is what he can do. He's surely going to be able to open it shortly. Is he actually hitting it there? I'm pretty sure he is hitting it. But they should be able to... Oh, they don't have a sledge this time. That's not good.
I have to try and guess. What does Void remember? Well, Lion remembers where Dejuz is and guns him while pushing through into Zulu. Has gotten actually exceptionally deep here. And if undiscovered, well, that's what happens. Almost gets another one, but Poseidon finally shuts it down and gets it correct. They still have upstairs control, but K6 is going to find his way back down onto point. He's going to rotate through into bathroom there. Get a little bit more of an idea of control as there is the glass droning out and trying to look via that high Maverick line to see if they can just catch the corner of an overzealous mirror.
There we go. Mavericks are going to be going down. He just managed to open it up a little bit. This, of course, is going to turn into a soft wall, so they'll be able to just try and open it up where they can as well. And there we go. They're going to be able to shoot it all out. Just everyone putting bullets to that soft wall, as it is pretty much fully opened up now. But Xtreme are looking very, very good. Echo and Castle both off the table. We've still got Nitros on the board, however, for the defense. But Yogus has managed to find his way into showers. Poseidon still trying to do what he can to shut that down, as he will go for the pre-fire, but nobody find the kill just yet. Yogus are very, very low HP. Poseidon will find him. That's the Twitch off the board. That is a massive kill in terms of kill potential coming out. As Liven unable to find him on the cross there, as he will push all the way up. Poseidon, no, will go down eventually to Liven. Now a 3v2, and no Maestro's available. Oh, a great shot from Renshiro is going to confirm that kill, and yet another from Renshiro as K6 goes down. Xtreme Video will take our very first map of Oregon, 8-7.
Wow, you said it would come down to the wire, and there it was. Obviously some pretty big takes there towards the end, and that is just map 1 in a best of 3.
Yeah, and it's on Oregon. We saw Oregon before. We were kind of expecting Xtreme Video to take it. They did some very unorthodox things. They did some very interesting things. Yogurt's just fragging out of his mind, as well as Lion, actually, as well. So we've seen a couple of people with some pretty good games there. But a very, very long map indeed for everyone involved, which means we are going to take a little bit of a break before we do go to our second map of Villa, which should be very interesting because it's been our first time in CCS Season 4 that we've seen Villa.
I am excited to go and have a look through wonderful Italian countryside.
So we will see you in about 5 minutes or so while we sort everything out here. See you in a few. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this insane series between Xtreme Video and Supremacy. I'm your host and caster, James Turner Parkinson, and once again joined by the wonderful Captain Fluke.
Pleasure to be here, a pleasure to be in a game that has already lit up just as much as we all kind of hoped, guessed, expected, and have seen so far. Max OT on Oregon with a heck of a lot thrown at the walls, a heck of a lot sticking, and even not in some cases between both teams. It was back and forth all the way to the bitter end. And for the first time in CCS, it is my pleasure to say we're going to Villa.
We are going to go to Villa indeed. So this is best of three, and it's getting a little bit more interesting now as we'll go to Villa. But the last time that these two teams met here was in Challenger League. At the very last play day, Supremacy did take the map 7-4 against Xtreme. So this is probably why they do want to go to Villa. Also, the last time, the bans, I believe, were Dockerby and Mirror for Supremacy, and Clash and Nomad for Xtreme, which is kind of weird if that's actually is how those bans played out, simply because we normally see the Clash ban coming out from Supremacy.
It was Clash throughout this entire season, but hey, let's find out what's right. Statistics? We're having a good old time. Map 2 of this best of three. Xtreme currently in the lead. One more map will progress them through to the grand final tomorrow, and with a chance at winning the lion's share of that very, very attractive looking prize pool. But here comes those bans. Xtreme Video starting on the defense again as well. Supremacy are attacking both times so far.
This is traditionally a very, very, very defender-sided map. I think it's even a little bit more defender-sided than Clubhouses. So yeah, we'll see the same ban coming out. Here is going to be the Dockerby ban to start with. That means I kind of expect a Nomad ban coming out from Supremacy here. And yeah, there we go. So I feel like the information I have is the wrong way around, and that we're going to see Supremacy ban the Clash now. And we'll see
French
Xtreme ban the Mirror.
There's Clash.
So Xtreme should ban the Mirror now, if my hypothesis is correct.
Run the numbers, crunch the figures, and see what comes out. Oh boy, it is a Mirror.
So yeah, my information is the wrong way around.
I don't have a medal for you, but if I did, I would give it to you at this point.
Well, that means a lot. The virtual medal means a lot.
The virtual medal. Here's a virtual medal, please. Yeah, here we go. Starting on, you can see both teams still in high spirits. A lot of have funs as we find ourselves opening on Villa. And as we've said before, and we've said so many times, I am so excited to find ourselves finally in Villa. It's one of those maps I really enjoy seeing, I really enjoy playing, and seeing how teams play it. I will say, yet again, Xtreme leading with points that aren't often your first picks.
So
a lot to break down right now.
I think that this is good though. I have seen Xtreme play Villa before. They played it during the invitational calls, and I casted that. And they were quite fond of the downstairs sites on Villa, which is kind of weird because you normally see the top floor sites being very much better. I like their ban strategy, right? So they ban the Mirror, and the Mirror is normally really good for holding the top floor sites, but you don't really need the Mirror down here that much. No. In fact, actually, I think the Mirror could be pretty detrimental on these sites because there's not really any soft walls between the sites here. So it's kind of hard to play off the Mirror, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, you kind of you channel yourself, but there's other operators that would be better to kind of build that in. Yeah, for that kind of ground coverage role, which we've, to be fair, seen a lot of Xtreme players play. You know, they're a team that so far have kind of been throwing the tactical book against them. Just in playing these lesser points, playing these lesser common first pick points, and as you said, it is often, you know, you'll start across on trophy, you'll move to the split point, and then you'll disappear underneath for that battle against the third point. And yeah, here we are yet again, finding ourselves starting on that basement, and Dejus and Alive, I say, they're the ones starting on the basement, and they're digging their way up towards that ground floor point.
Alive and Dejus just both crouching their way through the basement to see what they can do to get quick control of the kitchen. The drones will go out and see exactly what work needs to be done. The door's been barricaded, and Maestro is ready for it. Yogurt's there, just holding it on as Dejus throws out another drone and sees exactly what the situation is here for Alive. As he's going to be trying to do that Ash entry. Should be able to see Yogus, but no, he is going for the prone kitchen table. Let's see what he can do with a bit of a pre-fire. This whole attack seems to completely collapse at this point. He can't get this wall open, but Alive is going to be found by Lion on the flank. That's beautiful from Lion to shut that down. Dejus will get found out by Liven, and Xtreme have responded so well to that push. Yogus finds another one of his own. Taxis is out of it, and K6 and Poseidon are all that's left.
Wow, that was a sudden dismantling of the attack there. As I said, they were making quick pace to get their feet deep within that point, and then it all just started to unwind. Pulls of the thread, and now K6 is trying to push across Trophy and try and find their way around to at least an opening frag. There's still a lot of time. If there's anything they have on their side, it is time. But the C4 trade for the grenade, and nobody walks away with much damage. The hole through the floor, the pre-fire, but it doesn't catch yet again. Big battles, but no numbers coming through. It's a Legion trap, just another stick through the spokes of the wheel there of Xtreme, of Supremacy even.
Well, they are going to find a kill eventually. K6 is going to take out the line off the bullets and Nitro down. As K6 is going to try and crouch walk his way back through the basement to see what he can do. Poseidon does have Diffuser in hand, of course, but as we have moved into the last 40 seconds or so, it really isn't looking good because they have absolutely no control of the site. They really haven't done that much work. Supremacy are really stalling out at the moment, and 30 seconds, if they actually want to recover this round at this point, they need to get some frags on the board. Looks like Poseidon will try and do just that as he moves down the back stairs and just tries to peek out onto the kitchen. Still a frag grenade remaining for him as well as K6 picks up a double kill and gets all the way in. They've evened it out to 2 apiece. They could essentially clutch this out. Lyman's just still holding down onto this kitchen hallway here as he does take down Poseidon. It's all down to K6 to try and clutch out the round in 1v2, but no, Yogus won't let him have it. Xtreme Video will take round number 1.
Wow. The amount of times we have kind of called Supremacy players for doing pushes where they're getting these 2 frags, these 3 frags, and they're just finding their way back into point and back into battles. I really enjoy seeing it from them. They consistently kind of regrouping and recuperating. And again, I know the last time I said this, a little bit of a caster's curse came because their tactics fell apart the next round, but they're a really good team at kind of tactically responding to what isn't working and what isn't going so well. And, you know, even on the rounds that they lose, or a lot of teams that would be, you know, you go to a 5-2 with that much time left and they're already that injured, it's over. But for Supremacy, it's still always a battle, and I love seeing it.
Always a battle. Never give up.
Battle. Never give up. Never surrender. They've got, you know, those motivational posters with like kittens dangling from trees. That's all of Supremacy's wallpaper. Those motivational posters. They never stop. Never stop. Never stopping. Talking of familiar points, here we are in familiar, I will say, of Villa Aviator, which obviously you can kind of see. This is one of those points where Stanhope was saying earlier. Mirror is so nice to have a kind of keeping those eyes across that entrance there, which is the most common place of playing it. I like living on the Capcan, actually. Is that the first time we've seen Capcan today?
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen Capcan. Yeah, he's still good, though. Like, the way I've always figured out Capcan is he's a good intel log, right? So, when you come to the Capcan trap, you either have to shoot it, or you go through it and explode it. Either way, they know you're coming through that doorway.
It's the joys of it as well, especially obviously. The can is quite a beefy gun sometimes, the 919 as well. Like, it really can shred if it gets into the right position. The thing about Capcan is it often becomes a fool me once kind of operator. When players start to get a little bit more wise to a Capcan shenanigans, they're a bit more kind of proactive in shutting him down. I do love the pulse line, getting the information from K6's entrance there, and Lion opening the frag up. And there goes the sledge straight off the table, and still just going to play Library very aggressively, peeking towards that west open door. You can see K6 is just trying to find his way in at this point.
Loading mag!
Alive is going to try and make his way through the mud room. Poseidon has made his way there as well. This is really weird from Supremacy and how they want to try and take this, because most teams would come from this like east side and just try and push in that way if you actually want to do the room clear here. but they haven't done that at all. Like, they're still trying to push onto this pulse rather than just go around. I mean, having a pulse nitro below, yeah, it can be pretty detrimental, but if you push in quickly, and you have an IQ as well on top of that, like if you get IQ above, you could probably kill this pulse before he gets that C4. It's still going to try and get into the living room here. Just trying to do this room clear still. As Lyman's still holding down. Renshiro takes down Poseidon. This is not looking good for Supremacy at all. And so Live just trying to push in and do what they can on the living room. And just slowly crawl in through the galleries. When he can escape the Tassis has managed to find Yokes. In the meantime, Alive finds the end of the kill. And Liven is still here, but they might not be aware of it just yet. Oh, he sees him! Oh no, he's going to try and go for the pre-fire, but no, he can't get it. Lyman will win out. It's going to be all down to K6 and a 1v3. He does get the refrag, however, but he does get traded himself. Xtreme Video taking round number 2.
Well, Lyman just dug himself into that corner and waited, saw an opponent die right in front of him, and then saw a teammate die, and still kind of kept himself there, clutching his gun, and it did win out in the end.
Have you ever seen Enemy at the Gates?
Yes.
There's that scene where he's stuck in the fountain. Everyone's getting shot around him. He's holding onto the rifle. That's Lyven.
That's Lyven right there. That was what he was going through and experiencing. Hard life being in the military. But trophy and statuary, yet again, a point here, and again, one that would be nice, or would have been nice, say, currently off the table, to see a mirror on. And yet again, with the... Oh no, I was going to say the fresh picks, but Ella just got taken off right in front of me. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. What do you think about Ella?
She gets posted on the Rainbow Six subreddit.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
We're talking about the competitive side.
The competitive side of Ella. I mean, okay, obviously a lot of, if we hark back to early Ella days where the gun was a monster, the way that she was kind of taking control on that room and taking control with the early informations that we talked about that Capcom can do with her traps as well was fantastic. Then they kind of brought her general damage down, which is a fair thing to do. She was very good. I think it's very particular on the hold, obviously, because you kind of look at her guns and you go, well, what role is she going to be filling on a team point? And I don't think that she's explicitly a bad operator in terms of particular places, because you still have those Ella mines that can be pretty, you know, it can be so nice on those dying throw pushes against particular teams that you know like to do dying throw pushes. They can be very nice to get those early information, you know, because a lot of people don't look for Ella mines. They're kind of paying more attention towards all the other threats, and it's not the biggest, you know, stick in the leg for an attacker, but it's enough, and enough to throw the aim of a pro tier player or a pro caliber player could be the difference between life or death. I like Ella. I just think there's particular times for Ella, I think is the safest way. It's like a nice way of being like, we don't think you're right for the job, but we think you have qualities.
That's, yeah, pretty devastating to hear.
Yeah.
But there we go. Alive will push down onto the back stairs to see what he can do onto Astro. But 2 minutes left to go on the clock. Still plenty of time for Supremacy to do stuff here. And do stuff they will, as drones are going to go up onto the top of the Astro stairs. Renshiro playing a very powerful position, but doesn't actually have the floor fully combobulated yet, but he will. Alive will go down.
It becomes more of a battle here in Astronomy. Maestro is suffering a bit of zaps to the legs, but is still holding strong now, pushing into this bedroom, in the master bedroom, and getting a bit of control there and trying to creep along the side towards Astro as well as the more common way of pushing. Obviously, we said before that the entire battle for the point before is happening on a different portion of the map than it normally does, but here comes that destruction, and there is the long angle, and look at the low amount of health Renshiro finds himself on, but unfortunately for Habana, she is needed elsewhere, and Tactus has come to try and finish off the big Italian, who is so far still hanging in there. They cannot get anything to stop this wall being cracked open, and somehow Frost again being broken down by that Habana, and yet no drops. No one is taken off the table yet, and still a gun pointing towards you.
This is really not looking too good for Supremacy at all. Again, very stalling out here, but no, Dejas is going to find that opening frag. Lion going to go down. As we see, Impact is going to go down. Just hit the wall, unfortunately, not able to get open. Jammer just yet. As Lyman holds down, Rancho rotate. Rancho is, of course, down but not out just yet. Lyman's still holding on, waiting for this bathroom push. Poseidon pushes into the other side. Yogis goes down, but Poseidon with another kill. Lyman's out of it, and it's now all down to Void in a 1v4 to try and clutch it out. Rancho will be confirmed as Void slowly creeps up the Astro stairs. Looks like the Legion Mine has found Poseidon. Has managed to down him just yet, and more Legion Mines going up, but Dacius holding down the flank. Will take down Void. Supremacy takes round number 3 in their very first attack here on Villa.
Wow, that was easily the cleanest that they've looked, but it's also the most familiar that Supremacy push has looked. Obviously, they were trying to get a bit of control underneath Astro, and then they got control of Bedroom as well, and, you know, sometimes familiar is good at pushing against these points. The previous round where they looked pretty shaky in those back and forth was because they tried to take a familiar point in a very unfamiliar way, and it just did not kind of come to fruition. And you know that so far all day, what Xtreme have been doing is the unfamiliar, and they have been rolling in it and roaming in it and really just enjoying their time in it. And a sense of normality might be
But I mean, I would argue that this kind of Villa attack is just so hard. You're pushing against walls and walls and walls of defense constantly. Xtreme, on the flip side of that, have been doing really well at responding to Supremacy's attack strategy, and they've been very aggressive with it as well, which isn't unlike Xtreme in any sense of the fashion. They are typically a pretty aggressive team, but on the kind of like flip side of that, it's kind of hard to do that on Villa, and also not just hard, but also kind of not really the way you normally see teams play Villa.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is maybe one of the first times I've ever seen 4 points so far rotated. They've now picked up the library point. They're kind of really pushing themselves out and pushing themselves across the entirety of this map, and it's very telling of how Xtreme, as you said, want to kind of take these fights and take these battles. It's anywhere and everywhere.
I'm gonna go back as well, just a little bit. If you'll
Back in
let
time
me.
again.
Back in
Yeah,
time. Void was playing Frost.
Yeah.
Does that not strike you as somewhat odd?
Not on that point. I quite like Frost on that point. I think that obviously we talk about normality, still not real life because on Jiro. A lot of the times it's quick hop-ins into meeting its headmaster. It's kind of quick hop-ins into the kind of closet as well. Big fights across piano there from Yogurt, and having that to catch them unaware, because their eyes are always forced forward. They know you're going to be an Astro. They know you're going to be generally holding that kind of big, long triple wall there. I like Frost on that point. There's so you look at 90 window, you look at sneaking your way up Astro's stairs. I think there's so many places to put Frost traps that, yeah, it's not going to work the second time, but that first time, do it. Go for it. Throw them out. Bite their legs off.
Maybe not bite their legs off, but something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
But Yoga's going to be holding down here where he can, as Lion picks up a kill onto Alive. Very much against his namesake. As Lion still going to be holding down. Very aggressive still across the board from Xtreme, just peeking pretty much everything, trying to find these early gunfights early on, and trying to just affect the utility of the attackers. And we have seen it go down. Ash and Zofia already off the board. That's probably affected quite a lot of your soft breaching ability, as K6 is going to be holding down onto the main stairs. As Lion going to be holding down onto the hallway, but Yoga's instantly going to be peeking out, finds Poseidon. And now it's all down to a 2v4 between Taxis and K6 to try and bring this back. They don't have Diffuser, but Taxis will find the kill onto Yogurt, and he will try and recover the Diffuser. EMP goes down still, held that Legion Mine in his foot, will pull it out, but it's not going to be good enough. Void takes him down with a shotgun blast, and it's all down to K6 to try and bring it into a 1v3. It's not looking too good for him. We've still got a member up in bar, actually, as well, just holding it down. Live going to be holding that down where he can. Free fires coming out from K6, not good enough, but there we go. Live will pick it out. More peaks coming out from both sides. Pre-fires not landing their shots just yet. K6 brings out the pistol. He's sick of it. He's got the suppressor on. He goes for the pre-fires yet again, but K6 will not be able to land the shots. Liven will take it, and Xtreme Video will take round number 4.
Now, you did say at the very beginning, and it's always worth keeping in mind, is that Villa is a defender-sided map. See the kind of width and breadth of this map, and obviously the basement is very nice for a roam team, because even though you rarely go under there, normally you still have all that space to play with, and it's space that you can kind of put in the back of the mind of the attackers to worry about. So these are the rounds that Xtreme are expected to win. They're the ones that they're expected to take, and that it's harder for Supremacy to take. So don't be too kind of beat up, Supremacy fans, if this gap gets a little bit wider before we swap over.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You kind of normally expect to see like a 4-2 scoreline here for the defenders. Even though the Xtreme are being very aggressive with this and they are being slightly unorthodox with their sites being taken, this is pretty typical, I would say, of Xtreme to play Villa like this. And also, you would expect Villa to have this kind of scoreline anyway. So yeah, don't be too disheartened. We have seen Supremacy get one round of the board. It's not too unlikely they'll find yet another round of the board before this defense round is done. Pretty similar setup coming out here from Xtreme. However, they've not brought the mute this time, and they haven't brought the frost.
No. Obviously, I'm curious to see if they just try and impact trick any on that triple wall, but so far it doesn't look like they've really set themselves up for much. I believe that's how they caught the corner charges the last time. Mistaken about that, and then it became a little bit of a frag match and a frag fest as they try to crack their way a little bit closer through the point now, but this was the one that they lost. This was the point that they dropped as we found ourselves in trophy previously, so I guess we'll just have to see if they find a way in. But here comes the push now from Supremacy. They are finding their way up, and I guess, as I said before, it was their familiar push. They're going for the same thing. You can see there's a little bit of width there. There's the lurk on the south side, and bullets put into the shoulder of Dejus from Voy, who just goes for a little bit of a cheeky run out there on the balcony, but you can see this aggression from Xtreme. They're creeping towards these walls. They're looking for these fights, and they're making the attackers uncomfortable. And on a map like Villa, that can eat so much of your time and so much of your mental game. It's so much removed from what you need to be able to effectively clear this. Astro under immense pressure already. Bullets pinging across the doorways, trying to catch someone, but here comes the soft destruction. You can hear them rolling up the stairs of Astro, and it's only a matter of time before Supremacy start knocking against them.
Yeah, it is a matter of time. Lion still has this Nitro being very aggressive for a man. He still has a Nitro up as well. As still has Valkyrie camera here in the master bedroom. So I'm going to be trying to peek it out. He's trying to keep control, but K6 on top of the bed will outplay him. Lion goes down like a sack of potatoes. There we go. Balance charges are going to go out. No mute jammers there to stop them like they were last time. Flashbangs do go down through Astro rotate. This is really not looking good for Renshiro. He's still going to be holding on, however. He will still light throughout that engagement, as Alive will get picked up, actually, by Liven. As Zogot finds one of his own. It's a 3v3 situation. Poseidon and Tats both go down. It's all down to K6 yet again in a 1v4 clutch situation to try and bring it in. Going to scan it out to see what he can do. I don't think he's found this Valkyrie camera that's just below the bed, unfortunately, just yet. As K6 still trying to play around the walking closet, going to go to his pre-fire and see what he can do. No one is going to peek him. Everyone's just holding on just yet. As K6 trying to do some work. It's not looking good at all. There we go. He is going to find it. Ooh,
there.
He's got it. He can guess the Valkyrie camera, but 35 seconds let's go on the clock. It's not looking good. He does not have control of the diffuser either.
Well, it's 30 seconds. Here's the Legions going down. The diffuser obviously kind of in a little bit of a no man's land here. They know as soon as they start to put feet in, there it is. The eyes are on every side, and now you just find yourselves in a slightly smaller room with another camera watching you, and only 15 seconds. They are ready for you there, K6, and unfortunately can't pull out a moment like you managed so much today. We find ourselves 4-1. Managed to take that trophy, and there's one more before we swap sides.
So, I mean, we would kind of expect this to be a very deciding round now for the game. If Xtreme can hold on and they can win the dining room kitchen defense, I think they take the map, honestly. I cannot see 5 defenses won by Supremacy with how an aggressive team is. And you can see why this is now a decisive round. Look who's joined the party.
Yeah,
that is not what I expected either.
Oh, Liven on Caveira. Caveira and Villa. Why does those two things bring back horrible, horrible flashbacks of previous tournaments? No, we go in dining room and kitchen. We go back to the first point of the today, and it was held pretty well. I think there's still 3 of the operators still standing. No flawlesses yet, but hey, there's always time. And we talk about, obviously, Rome, and we talk about how powerful it is. Look at the combination of information and Rome here. You have 3 big hitter information ops. One's outside of Echo, and then you've got Vera, who is just going to be thrown to the other side, and there's going to be no real idea of her, as yet again, that is the 3rd operator bought for the first time today. We also obviously saw Frost earlier, and Capcan, and now Vera.
Yeah, it really shows you how diverse the tactics are from Xtreme. We're not going to see the Blackbeard coming out in the end, however, from Supremacy. As, well, I mean, we haven't really seen so much variation in Supremacy's roster, honestly, with their operator lineup.
No, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, we've talked about how they're quite good at adapting when things start to go wrong on the fly, but in between rounds, they generally like to go back to their square one and reset themselves up for how things go. But to be fair, this is something that we've also called Xtreme video on throughout in this. I have. So, fair's fair. These 2 teams are very similar in how they like to kind of tactically approach maps, and though Supremacy could arguably currently have the biggest strat book to pull ideas from and those kind of motions, doesn't mean Xtreme are short of their own ideas and their own plays.
Yeah, no, as Alive will make his way through onto the arch hallway as he's made his way into the basement yet again. And this is very similar to how they did this last time. They went all the way through the basement and they tried to shut it down there, but Xtreme were ready for them and they just closed the trap in. I wonder if this is what they want to do here, because we do have Liven rotating through the basement as well, as Alive has actually made his way all the way up onto the top floor instead of Astro.
Oh, K6 opening up the frags there, as you said. That is Valk taken off the table, but we've already seen her cams haunt K6 long after she's passed before, so she's far from off the table. Just been picked up for her cam work there. You can see Alive is creeping around the corner here, wants to start finding a way closer in. Another Valk cam off the table and knocking just alongside the door, but obviously Liven is still on the board and still lurking and still creeping and still ready to find her way back to cause a little bit of devastation. But obviously they're not really thinking about it. They don't really know she's there. She's just in Wine Cellar, having a good time and getting a bit drunk. But Alive finds Yogurt, so at this point, Renshiro and Liven might need to think about starting to close their way back to point.
Yeah, and kills will start to come out. Tassis takes down Voy as Renshiro will trade it right on back. Poseidon goes down. It's all down to Liven and Renshiro to try and bring this in. But the site control is very much into the site of Supremacy as the peak comes around, but Alive won't let Liven have it. And it's going to be all through onto Renshiro. He goes to the peak, just get the down, doesn't convert the kill just yet. Goes for the peak again, but Alive, he'll shut him down, and Supremacy will take round number 6. So, still good for Supremacy. The slight change of being tactics coming out from Xtreme video, not working in their favor, and they will go against it, unfortunately. And Supremacy will bring us into the second half with a 4-2 scoreline, and this is kind of what you'd expect.
Yeah, you called it earlier on. You said 4-2 is kind of split on this point. It's familiar, obviously. The numbers look much wider than they are, but, you know, it's a defender-favored map. It's only really around difference there between the pair of them, and I think everyone here has thrown those kind of leads before in their own ranked sessions. I know I have. But here we are, swapping over trophy and statuary, and Supremacy have got themselves in a pretty nice hold here. Hey, look who Renshiro is bringing.
I mean, Renshiro and Blackbeard. If you go on Renshiro's Wikipedia page, sorry, no. The other way around. If you go on Blackbeard's Wikipedia page, it says notable players, Pengu, Renshiro, and Zyronic, I want to say. And yeah, I mean, I would kind of agree with that. I mean, when you think about Blackbeard, you think of kind of those 3 guys. And yeah, Renshiro pretty much has defined how Blackbeard is played, along with, I guess, Young.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, like, there's operators and players that have kind of shown what you can do with an operator. It's not that they're just good guys. It's not that they're just good at kind of understanding how to throw them. It's that they introduce ideas about the operator, use ways to do it. You look at, you know, BC and Buck. You look at, you know, the kind of Ash and many of the Russian players, but Joystick obviously in particular. And And this is one of them. It's Renshiro and Blackbeard. The way he can throw this Blackbeard around the map, and the guns, and the balance, and the positions he would hold are the ones that get replicated and copied.
Yeah, definitely. So, round 7 getting underway, and we haven't seen any kills go out just yet. But interestingly, the AR-33 choice that showed Lion rather than traditional L85. But we do see the traditional MK17 coming out from Renshiro here. As Xtreme will try and take control where they can. And we see Supremacy, they're playing exactly how they normally play, right, around this. We've seen a stark contrast in their playstyle of each of these teams, where Xtreme will go to the very, very weird sites and do the very weird things. Supremacy, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, Supremacy like to kind of bat on these default lines. They like to kind of find themselves, run familiar ideas and familiar strategies. When they don't, and when they push themselves out a little bit too much at the beginning of a round, it tends to not go so well. They're much better at adapting and reacting than they are to kind of, I would say, demonstrating and opening. Renshiro finds Tactus, though, and you can see they're instantly starting to roll in towards the point. Wow, Renshiro is deep. Wow, he has eyes. And going to catches, but no, the C4 doesn't catch, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately indeed, but Renshiro will go down regardless of all of that, but it is now a 2v4. You've removed the Blackbeard, but there's still loads of utility and still loads of time left for Xtreme to start to do that work, but Alive will start to do the work backwards. Euros does go down, now it's starting to even that man count just a little bit out. Very aggressive smoke coming out from K6 there as Alive trying to peek out from the opposite side.
It's a fair way to peek, but here comes the bullets. Lion finds Alive, and another one as he drops K6 as well. What a way to open their attacks here.
Beautiful way indeed coming out from Xtreme as they pick up the 2-piece right there at the end. Xtreme Video will take round number 7, and they'll put themselves at a 5-2 scoreline. This is looking really, really, really good for them.
Oh yeah, and we're going to go back to Aviator Games. We're going to see, oh, not back to even, we're going to move over to Aviator Games, in fact. And I'm hoping for a little bit more of a solid hold here. Obviously, they were playing, we saw how quickly Renshiro managed to get himself set up towards the point, and sure, he got dropped not long after, but being able to be an anvil in that position allowed the push from Master Bedroom to just creep straight across, because they knew no one could be watching that from across the double awning. They knew no one could be kind of shutting them down against the wall, and it allowed too much of Xtreme into the room.
Reinforcing the wall!
Yeah, and it kind of goes back about how we were saying about how Xtreme can be this very, very aggressive team. They have, I would say, the slight, very, 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 very slight gun skill advantage here. And when they can find the gunfights, they're normally winning them over Supremacy. So when they are allowed to do things like that, it does go well for them. And we saw it consistently happen in Oregon. I feel like Oregon was a slightly better map in response to those facts. But also Villa now, this is kind of weird because it's not a map that you can really do that on very well. I mean, it's so defender-sided, mostly because of how many corners and how many hard walls there are as well. There's so many places to hide, there's so many places for you to get flanked from. It becomes a much harder map as an attacker, but Alive is actually going to be here peeking the window. He's going to give his position away as he gets Claymore.
Wow, Alive actually pulled off similar moves when we were on Oregon before. Those kind of window peaks that maybe you shouldn't be battling, but you know, we've talked about what the teams can do well and what teams like to rely on kind of more traditional roles and traditional strategies. And when Supremacy did push the boat out just a little, and I say Supremacy, when Alive did push the boat out just a little, it did actually start to work. It did actually start to get kills. We talked about how great Jus was on the previous map, but he is unfortunately not finding his feet just as well on this one. But Alive is one of those players that is heated up a little bit. He's finding some ground and could be the one that kind of picks the team up right there. Lion starts to creep in, and oh, Poseidon kind of pulls back at the right moment there to not suffer a fate as Renshiro enters via a roundabout and starts trying to close down on the back. Sees the Jaeger of K6, who just kind of pulls out of there, but is now dug a little bit onto 90. Valkyrie is doing a dance around a Twitch drone, but is concerned about someone shutting them down as K6 rotates the red and starts to clear back up as well to back up Poseidon. who is currently under some mounting pressure.
That is a really bad situation for Poseidon to be in. You really don't want that MPX to fight the Blackbeard off that angle. It's an accurate gun, but it really does a very tiny amount of damage. Its DPS isn't good, and Renshiro could just walk into the site and do things like that. This is out of it, and now it's a 5v3 situation as Lion goes down Poseidon with a wide peak, and Renshiro is going to be able to refrag him immediately as the wide peaks put another one. Now it's all down to K6 in a 1v4 clutch situation. See what can happen. The vault push just come through from Yoga. He goes down for it though, as K6 does find one but can't find a second. He does break Renshiro's shield, but not Renshiro himself. Xtreme Video will take round number 8 and put themselves on match point.
Well, maybe it's time for Supremacy fans to panic a little bit. I know I said don't worry too much at the split, but they're still going. Xtreme have looked unbelievably solid on these attacks. They are really just comfortable in getting control, in locking off rotations, locking down angles, and then just allowing the team to execute, allowing the team to put pressure onto the points and put pressure onto these defenses. And so far, it just hasn't looked like over these 2 rounds that Supremacy have known a way to answer that, known a way to respond to that, and know a way to kind of roll.
No way to keep control. That is pretty much these attacks summed up in an instant. This has been really well, and the fact that there's been so much like wall opening coming out from Xtreme, there's so much like beta coming out from them, make sure on the Blackbeard every round, that's always a good sight to see. So, you know, we'll see how it is gonna go down as we move into match points.
Well, here it is. If there is a moment for Supremacy to start pulling some stuff out, this is it, because see, there's 1 round between them and getting a 1st or 2nd place. Now, there is still prize pool money for 3rd. It is not over for Supremacy yet. They've just battled whoever loses the game we will see after this. But hey, we could see the comeback of comebacks right now. It is down, but not out so far. There's some eyes from Pulse and Poseidon. They're going to go for a little bit more aggression. You can see Alive is actually waiting down below Poseidon's. Wow, there it is. There it is.
What a great coordination on the teamwork there for the spawn peak as well. That is unusually aggressive coming out from Supremacy. We did see them do something similar on Oregon, and yeah, Lion's going to recognize that was a nice shot. Not only that, the stature of the board might not mean that much considering we haven't got any hard breach now coming out from Supremacy, but we still do have Legion on the board. We still have Alibi, ADSs. We have the Pulse Scanner. There's 4 things that could be affected here by Thatcher's EMP.
They've kind of, yeah, they've given themselves a big bit of breathing room here, and you can see they're still concerned about runouts. They're still concerned about continual threat from Supremacy, but at that point, obviously, they've all kind of pulled themselves back in. They've done a bit of dirty deeds, and you know, they're happy to kind of pull themselves back, and the amount of time that is being eaten up just from that mental state of, well, now they could be anywhere. Now we've got to pay attention on a map like Villa that is so big and so thick. It's a tough position to be in as an attacker.
It is a very tough position to be, but I think Xtreme can make it work. The Pulse Scanner is going to be below from Poseidon. The Barn Chargers are going to go down to try and open up the wall. Alive with Poseidon just both holding it down where they can. But the kitchen push in is going to start to inevitably come through, it looks like. More push is coming through. So that Barn Charger should be able to get off convincingly, but what? Renshiro pushes all the way from the other side of the kitchen, takes down Alive, and that's all down to Poseidon in this downstairs roam to keep control, but he does still have that Nitro, I believe, in his back pocket to try and keep that control as K6. Also playing pretty aggressively here around onto that massive bedroom doorway. Poseidon has been droned out. This is getting a much tougher situation for him. You really don't want to have to deal with Renshiro on the Blackbeard here, holding down your rotate.
Oh, it looks like just as he was about to kind of go around the edge and see a foot, enough damage has kind of been done upstairs, and they're running on a little enough amount of time to need to come around and try and shut just out of Astro. You can see the pair of them are pushing up the stairs. Liven and Renshiro is going to go for the peak. Hopefully Liven is watching the back, because Poseidon is far away. Be able to put at least a little bit of back and forth, but this just shoots through Renshiro and keeps Astro under their control, and that is a monumental kill for how this round is going. Poseidon gets shut down by Liven. K6 finds Void, but Dujuz is going to end that round, and Supremacy have one more under their belt.
Beautiful plays coming out from the Jaeger here, just to shut down that entire Astro Stairs push coming out. Supremacy will hold on for yet one more round as Xtreme still on that match point. However, they've still got plenty of attacks to deal with. Supremacy have to get 3 rounds of the board here to bring this into OT. It's not impossible, and they are the defender sided here, of course. So, it could go well for them. But, this is just not a good situation to be in. I'm sure that, if it was any other team other than Supremacy, I would say mentally, it's going to start affecting you at this point. But we already said this about Supremacy, about, hey, they never surrender, they plod on, tough upper lip and all that. I don't think it's going to affect them. They also have the experience competitively anyway.
That's it. They've got that kind of a lot of experience under their belt. They've suffered these losses on a stage where, people are live watching you. They've gone through the ringers on this stuff. It's old territory for them, and it's not the kind of thing that will throw them too much. But at this point, it's just down to whether they can find those frags, because yeah, it's all well and great being one of those teams, but so are Xtreme. They are one of those teams that knows how to do this, knows how to keep their head in the game and their blinkers on and push what needs to be pushed and hold what needs to be held. And we're still looking at 2 big teams.
Yeah, still looking indeed. But there we go. We are going to see this games room, aviator room defense coming out from Supremacy to see what they can want to do as Xtreme begin their attack. What do you we've seen Xtreme pretty much bring the same lineup every single time, and we've particularly seen Renshiro on the Bloodbeard almost every single time as well. He's been doing a good job until last round where he just got deleted.
Yeah, I mean, it was appearing obviously the way that they were kind of pushing against it. I think a limitation on time was a bit of an issue, because could have gone out and potentially popped off to Astro window, but I think they were a bit concerned about the existence of Poseidon there. I think the smarter move, if the pair of them had shut down Poseidon first with that extra 10 seconds, I guess they wouldn't fully truly know that it was an extra 10 seconds, but it probably would have been. At the end of it, it would have been a much better position. Yogurts, however, meets a fate there as Dejuz opens the scoreboard yet again. Do a little bit more home renovation before they start getting back in the fight, but I think it's Supremacy are waking up a bit to what is being done, but I don't think the last round was too much of a fault of Renshiro's in the back bit. It was more a fault of just being in maybe the wrong time of position.
Oh, Poseidon completely out of position there for the bandit trick, and Void will punish Tactics for it. That's unfortunate. As there we go, we have now lost 1 C4 off the board. No smoke from the defense means that you're going to have to rely on the C4s if you want to deny the plant going down behind the bar. This isn't a good situation to be in for Supremacy right now, but we do still have Alive just holding on the main stairs. This is a pretty powerful position to play, because also if you're prone here, you can't really lose this fight. A lot of pro players will prone and then stand back up around this area, but he's just going to stay crouched, and Lion will take him up accordingly, as we do lose Renshiro on the Bloodbed, however.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I spoke too soon about Renshiro not doing the right things. Does get dropped on the other side by K6. He now has control of 90. Classical is going to pop some shots. Oh, double shots popped. Going for a little bit of a wide peek there as they start to just break their way right through, covering the rotation from stairs, which is definitely a smart move. You've got to find a way to cut off a bit of the breadth that otherwise can be utilized, but there's only 30 seconds left, so they can start finding their way through onto this point. A bit more Hibana destruction goes out as Lion takes a bit of a lead with the firefight, but K6 still has that long classical corridor locked off, runs through the fight, but no, the hole isn't wide enough. And that is an unfortunate thing to meet as K6 just tears Voy apart. Fish out of water and a diffuser out of luck. As Lion pushes deep, gets 1, looks for another inside the room, but there's only 2 seconds. 1 second, no more.
Oh, that's really, that is just unlucky. So, yeah. The Hibana, when it explodes sometimes, so it would have been wide enough for him to vault through, but if you saw the bottom Hibana, it didn't explode correctly, and it left like a tiny upwards gap, and that's why you couldn't vault through it.
The thing about Hibana, but as I said, Hibana main's very familiar with that. It's been around a while, Hibana.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to year 1, Hibana used to be horrendous back then to use. So, you know, he should count his lucky stars. He doesn't have to deal with year 1 Hibana. And he only has to deal with year 4 Hibana. But,
where she's only a little bit broken.
yeah, it's fine now.
It's
But,
fine.
I mean, it just kind of come back to like the fact that she's kind of an unreliable hard breacher. But, oh hey, I still like the Maverick strategy, honestly.
No, that's fair. It does work very well. I can see what the difference on the Maverick is. You need a little bit more time. Oh no. A little bit more time and a little bit more kind of positioning and ability there.
Reloading. Setting a nest.
See, so we are going to have a rehost here. 6-4. Unfortunate timing, but, you know, if, at least when it rains, it pours, apparently, with bugs in this game.
Apparently so. Apparently so. I think when like Hibana bugs and things happen, it's like a good indication that the lobby's about to start breaking. You know, the world, the reality start collapsing, like the Matrix. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we can always talk about lobby bugs. I remember the one where if you host it for too long, it just decides to break. This is the ones where fights don't work. That's always a good.
Yeah.
Anyone.
It's another addition to the strategy of the game.
Yeah.
You know.
You gotta battle the opponents and Ubisoft.
So, like, looking at the round count of this, we were kind of surprised so far to see it be 6-4. It's like 5-5-2. You're kind of thinking that it's gonna go to Xtreme at this point. They are 1-0 up. They are gonna bring it to OT regardless now. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I mean, I'm thinking, like, I'm looking back to see how Villa played out last time they played. Xtreme won 3 defenses and 1 attack on Villa. And we're kind of feeling something similar here, where they've only won 4 defenses, 2 attacks. It's not been great for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as soon as it kind of got 6-2, I did say Supremacy might claw it back, but it's a very hard thing to do, especially against a team that had as much momentum as did, and then they kind of just pull 2 rounds back there and bring it to the 6-4 situation. I guess it's whoever kind of holds on, because at the minute, I would say Supremacy definitely have the stronger mental game in terms of game and in terms of situation we're going to find ourselves in after this rehost. But
4 defense wins is not impossible. We've just seen 4 defense wins coming out from Xtreme. So to see that them come through and then to bring it to overtime is not completely out of the question. And then it's kind of a bit of a coin flip when we get to overtime to who gets that defense side.
Yeah. It's one of those things where obviously we've already kind of seen it go to max OT once. And time we go to max OT. Well.
Yeah. So, I don't know, just like looking back at how it's been so far for Supremacy's attacks, their coordination was pretty good still. Like they only messed up in like a few instances where Xtreme was simply just reading what their play was and they were countering it beautifully. They weren't actually playing badly. And if you look back at Oregon, they weren't playing badly there either. There was like small tactical errors that ended their losses. We talked about the Oregon basement defense, for example.
Yeah.
Where they kind of jumped the gun on where the attack might be coming from. So it's kind of instances like that where you've seen them kind of mess up. But other than that, I don't think Supremacy are playing poorly here, and it's completely not out of the question to see them actually bring it in.
Obviously, for those who are joining us somehow at this kind of late moment, we're on towards the end of the second map of a best of 3, and this is the semifinals. But this is not the only game on tonight, and I guess we can take a little bit of going to see next and see after this, which is the second semi-final of the night in EU, which is Epsilon versus Diz.
It's interesting because Diz Lion have made playoffs without winning a single game.
You know, it's been a very fun season of CCS.
So, Dislan do actually have 2 victories on the table, but they were both default wins. They were a default win against Unnamed in week 6, and a default win against Nordic in week 7. So because of Unnamed and Nordic leaving, and because it was too late in the season to do adding qualifiers or anything like that, it resulted in Dislan getting insanely lucky, and they made playoffs off the back of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have had 3 draws though and 2 losses. So I mean, one of their losses was against Empire. So when they were still in CCS, when they hadn't dropped out by week 3.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's
So
and you kind of do look at the teams that did show up very graciously to fill the spots towards the end. Obviously, we had Ricky at the time they were called, and they really put up a fight towards it, but to kind of keep their claws onto as well. Again, that'll be another match where that was the 2nd and 3rd seeds. So battle there. I know there was a little bit of. We're not going to reveal all of our secrets. Yeah, we're going to keep some secrets because we actually need stuff to talk about.
yeah, so also, looking back then, Supremacies, we talked a little bit about how Supremacy and how, well, they were known as Lorescast at the start of the season, now known as Xtreme Video during their actual season. Supremacy were the only people to take a map off Xtreme during the entire season. Out of 7 games that Xtreme played, or well, at least showed up to, the only team that took a map off them was Supremacy. So if there was any team that's going to be able to knock them out of the playoffs, it's going to be Supremacy. And it's kind of interesting to see that this game isn't the grand final. It's actually the semi-final.
And it very almost could have been the grand final. I know we were talking about in the final play week where there was actually both games that went down on the day that we were casting had pretty big impact towards where the teams would end up for playoffs and where they would get as seeded. And it was very close. Very close.
If Supremacy had beaten Epsilon during week 4, they would have gone 2nd, and I believe Epsilon would have finished 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, it was exciting. It's the joy of all of this, and the joy of the change, and the joy of leagues is that it often does boil down to when we instead suffer from a couple of teams for however long, we were still battling it out on that final week, battling out on those final games. So, hey, this has been a very exciting season. There was actually a really great resource that I was by you, which was the stat breakdown of the entire season for CCS, which I believe was on the site, and the round count for these 2 teams for Supremacy especially was at least 50 rounds more some of these players than other teams, just based on how many games a lot of players have changed round on. A lot of stuff is it just far and away have put in a heck of a grind.
Unfortunate indeed. So, yeah, like going forward into Villa, we could potentially see our 3rd map now of Coastline as well. That could be very potential here. Seeing a 6-4 scoreline, we've already seen it's like completely within the realm of possibility that Supremacy take the next 2 rounds and bring us to OT. If it does, it kind of does end up being a coin flip. That can be an issue sometimes for some players. And just a note as well for that is that while we do have limited overtime for this game, for the grand final tomorrow, it will be infinite overtime, which could be quite interesting.
And it's not the first time CCS has dabbled in infinite overtime.
No, it isn't, and it's a good thing we didn't do it across the entire season.
What was there was one game I recall.
Flynn casted in the North American qualifier last season. I think it was a 35-round game. It ended up being.
That is such a amount. To not only cast that many rounds and that long. Hey, so let's hope it happens again tomorrow. But for now, we're going to go back into this lovely Italian villa as we find ourselves on the rehost round 11. And we are still neck of the woods.
Why do people say that?
About the necks in the woods.
Do woods have necks?
I don't know. Never. I not really don't want to ask about the physicality of woods.
There we go, chat. I have a mission for you, chat.
What is
Find
the
out
neck
why
of the
people say
woods?
neck of the woods. Is there like, what's the reasoning behind that?
Are there any other body parts of the woods? No.
Yeah.
Let's cast.
Yeah, sorry, we got a game here. So it is match point here to Xtreme Video Esport. Looking very, very good now. 1 round away from securing themselves at least $2,500. That's a lot of moolah.
I'm still thinking about the woods.
As Yoga would say, it's a lot of bones.
That's a lot of bones. It's a good amount of bones. You want the right amount of bones. You don't want too little bones.
Well, I mean, also, this is a really important game because it's $1,000 prize pool difference between second place and third place.
Yep.
So by winning this game, you secure at least second place. You secure at least $2,500. It all comes down to this, and there's a lot of money to deal with here. You know, like that's not no pandering going on there whatsoever. But we will see how it is going to go down. We do see another attack coming through, but now we're on a much harder defense. Well, this was pretty successful for Xtreme. We haven't seen it go the same way for Supremacy.
We kind of find ourselves down here. It was to be fair, actually, Supremacy did take it once on the attack, but the hold that they did do was a little bit shaky at times. It was the last one we hit before it was one of the two that take at least. But here we'll see whether they can actually find an attack against it Xtreme that was as confident as their opening defense. But at the same time, I talk about confidence and I talk about the amount of kind of sway and confidence and momentum that the defenders were rolling with before, because they were hot off 2 rounds and they were getting hotter. They were finding themselves more aggressive and more confident and more comfortable to move, and you know, they've got to try and hold on to that. Yogurt's drone heads into another world.
It's the 4th dimension drone. It's the 4th eye drone, It's just what you got to do.
New operator. I can see the ghosts of the opponent.
But Silent is going to be holding down these back stairs as well. Interesting, they haven't opened above these back stairs at all to try and hold it down behind the Astro desk at all. But there we go. Tejas is going to be holding down into statutory rooms to see what he can do. K6 pulsing out from below still to try and give him a little bit of information to see what he can do. As we just moved into the second half of the round. This really aggressive peak. Not even ADSing. This man has so... I just don't want to say that particular word on stream, but you know exactly what I mean, stream.
Well, I was curious to see that this is, I think, the longest we've gone through any of these rounds without a player dying. I know a lot of them have kind of taken damage at this point as well, normally as well, and a minute left, and we've seen the first player of Xtreme drop, and I'm not sure if that's more of a comment on how Xtreme are playing this round, or more of a comment on how Supremacy are playing this round, because that's a long amount of time, and you've really got to hope that Xtreme are confident with the control that they've got in this time. You can see Dejus is still running around. K6 finds Yogurts as well. Poseidon can't get around the backstairs against Manchiro. And there's the firefight, but nobody suffers anybody. Tactus, however, drops Voy, and there is the pickup from Dejus. But now it is a 4 versus 2. Within 30 seconds, we see a lot of operators suffer a fate, and there is just another one added to that list.
Yeah, well, it's all down to Lion now in a 4v1 situation. Not looking too good for him. 20 seconds left to go. Doesn't have control of the diffuser. Yeah, they need to frag out or do something. But there we go. He'll get a 1 kill. Dejus is going to go down, but 13 seconds left to go on the clock. Lion will try and push down onto this door. Will not be saving the opposite day. As he pushes all the way around. Pre-fires coming out from K6 will confirm the kill onto Lion. Supremacy will take round number 11. Still match point, but now Supremacy 1 round away from bringing us into overtime.
Wow, 3 rounds in a row, as you said. We saw a 4-2 split before we hit this point, and we're potentially about to see another 4-2 split here. We did say it's over until it's done, and this is a team that is comfortable kind of being on the back foot and clawing their way back into a game. And it's a map that really helps the defenders with that. It is built defenders kind of not in the complete comfort of this. It's not just handed to them, but they do have a couple of smooth moves that they can pull out that really do help benefit them against an attack.
Yeah, they definitely have those smooth moves in. I like saying that a lot. Is that a reference to something?
I think it should be. I'm just trying to get branding out there. I'm trying to get merchandising out there.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Captain Fluke and his smooth moves.
I'm jealous of other people having Siege merchandise.
Right.
So I'm gonna. No one copyright that, please. Smoothmoves.com.
So let's move through into the smooth moves of the defense now, as we will see an upstairs defense coming up from them of statutory room and trophy room. Let's see exactly what the price is of that. But pretty similar roster again, but we do see now a Zofia on the line instead of the Twitch coming up from Yogurts.
You know, I quite like the use of the Zofia in this. We've seen them kind of holding these angles and being set up in these kind of places where having a little bit more, you know, slightly less close toe-to-toe construction could work very well for them. Obviously, you know, potentially taking care of alibis from a bit of range or throwing against maestros. It's a nice bit of utility to have, and Zofia is one of those operators that can really add a lot to a team that's kind of missing something.
So, very important bit of analysis here as well. According to Lightspeed Steve in the chat, neck of the woods can also mean region of the woods.
Okay. But why is a region a neck?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess a neck is a part. But why does no one else then say, well, I live in the knee of the woods? I'm in the elbow of the woods. I just don't trust these things, is my moral of the story. Pressure coming from Renshiro, back on the stable window now. Remember, this was where he pushed in exceptionally fast before and kind of locked off that horizontal pressure against the plant itself and against the point itself. And, you know, having that firing line all the way deep through the building towards Astro kind of really allowed the rest of the team to hammer against his anvil, but so far again they're just struggling to kind of get the initial control. DeJuice has suffered a little bit of damage, playing quite close against the Astro window. There is Yogurts entering and exiting just as fast as he came in, trying to bite and trying to bait, and unfortunately doesn't catch DeJuice too much, but a minute 20, and yet again this is a much slower game we're seeing from these two French teams.
It is a very slow game indeed, but it is a game. Try and reward them a little bit. It's going to get opened up as Lion is going to be moving through onto the other side of the bedroom. And they're all still pushing in. I mean, all 5 members of Xtreme up with a minute left to go. That is still very, very successful from their side, because that is very rare to see from them during these floor attacks. As they will start to slowly push in to the objective. K6 still holding on where he can. SMG at 11 in hand to try and deny the push. 3 remote gas grenades still available to him as well, as lots of utility available to the other defenders. Lion pushes in, try and confirm the kill. He will with a pre-fire. K6 is out of it. That's the Lion down. Bloodpit comes out from Renshiro. He does kill one, but they just instantly trades it out from Astro. Now 3v4 situation not looking too good. Flashbangs going out into the site to see what they can do. Confirm the presence of 0 ADS in the site, of course, as Yogurts picks up Deja's, and now it's all down to Poseidon and Alive to try and hold on to this particular scenario. Poseidon playing around to the B door, but Alive with a great angle takes down Void with a headshot as Diffuser down as well. And this is not looking too good at all. 2v3 situation. Poseidon still holding on. C4 goes out, but can't confirm the kill just yet. Pre-fires coming out from Alive still, but he's trying to run down the timer with the pre-fires. Yogurts pushes all the way up onto the other side. Poseidon takes him down, and now it's 2v2. Poseidon is still very low on HP, but has confirmed the kill. Diffuser in hand. Live and just get the kill into Alive, but if you can't get the Diffuser down, Supremacy take round number 12. Insanely close clutch coming out from them, and they will take us to overtime.
Wow, they really pulled themselves back into that one. Again, everything seems stacked against them. The hold from that point just to eat away at that time and that precious resource and keep that diffuser cold and keep it off of and out of anybody's hands, and it played perfectly into them. Great work, as you said, from the Valk to keep firing and peppering, and you know the MPX is a pea shooter, but it really, really just had a big impact there.
It did, and it can, because it's very accurate as well. Is what you got to remember, right? So going further through. We'll see how that is going to go down. But overtime now, as we see Supremacy on the defense to start with. So coin flip is definitely going in their favor. If we'll see it actually happen like that remains to be seen.
Now it's, you kind of look at the kind of breakdown. It was so far across the game, it was 2 rounds to X, 1 to Supremacy, another 2 to X, Xtreme, 1 to Supremacy, another 2 to Xtreme, and then 4 in a row to drag themselves back from that brink and say, we want to fight you on coastline. We are willing, ready to accept that that might not happen.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing how that goes down. As Alive with another kill with the MPX deadly weapon with Alive in hand, apparently. As we see a 5v4 situation already. Live with his bomb peaked. Unfortunate for him. But this has put Supremacy at a big advantage here now going through. This study push is going to be really hard without an IQ.
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to find your way in. You know that they've been using the Legion has been a constant hassle for you. Playing a lot of these information operators as well, it's just to try and get a bit of control. Ways to counter and cancel being able to leave stuff open. Now, vertical they're going to hold. Obviously, the battle of Classical and 90 became quite a big point of contention. Poseidon has actually creeped a little bit further back round, away from the immediate fight. A6 still deep in the thing that they still have to do is the C4 goes off and catches a door that nobody is around to find, but does give Lion the hint that, hey, somebody is waiting and watching for us, and Alive is the one to find it yet again. Valkyrie and another one, the third. Said the MPX was a pea shooter. Also said it was a precise one, and they are using it well. Sees the gun barrel and a fourth. Oh no, but oh yay, and Voy is holding the door, and Valk at this point goes for the ace.
Oh no, Voy! He gets on the bearing, but he can't make it happen. Alive with the deagle! He's gonna confirm the kill, and he confirms the ace. Oh my god, both potatoing out so hard there, but Alive will bring it in with a deagle. Oh my god, that was the true battle of potatoes if we'd ever seen one. That is not good at all. Let me see how it is going to go down as we do move into overtime match point. This is Supremacy looking insanely good.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that brings it to another round in a row. 5 rounds in a row now for Supremacy, and they are just kind of cruising at this point, and it just doesn't really seem like they have that heat and that fire that they had in the earlier rounds. They had so much control and so much confidence, and questioning where it's gone at this point.
So, Supremacy looking very, very good indeed, but they now have to move on to the attack, of course. And this is going to be an insane matchup because, I mean, if Xtreme can take this defense, which they did really insanely well last time, and the first time they defended here as well, if they could take this defense, Fluke, that means we go to max OT for yet another map.
And it's not the final. It's not even the
final. Not the final. This is the first. This is the first of 4 games of the playoffs.
They're going for screen time. That's for sure.
Yeah. You gotta get your money worth.
Gotta get your money's worth. Get your ticket price. But
exactly.
Lion is now on the Valkyrie. They're kind of handing the Valkyrie around. And obviously, she's such a powerful operator. We're seeing how she's done, but we've seen her play by a lot of different people today. And I guess Lion's going to try and fill some shoes that were just left pretty well worn by Alive, who has decided to roll through on the Ash that has been picked up so frequently. And we said in the earlier map, we said in the first map we saw today, that Alive is a brilliant fragger, a brilliant aggressive player that kind of struggled to get out of the gates a little bit in the last map. And now they just roll an ace through on defense. I think that is a player that has woken up.
The player that's just woken up, wow, yeah. Couldn't have said any better myself.
You know?
As we will see Supremacy start to move in for their attack, but this is unlikely where they will win their matchup. It's likely they'll win it when they move back onto the defense, but if they can win the attack here and close it out, all the better for them. Nitro is going to go up and able to connect just yet. Dage's going to wide peek it out, when able to confirm the kill onto Lion just yet. As more drones are going to be coming out from Alive to see what Supremacy can do here. K6 making his way downtown as well. Tatis now moving through onto the kitchen door. As Alive going to make his way back up to his teammates after a hefty drone session.
Yeah. 3 players already, and a blinkering on an exceptionally low amount of health, and that only really plays into the hands of a lot of defenders. With you have Legion on the board, you have Smokes on the board as well. Just give them doubt and give them fear on that push, and that is where you might find a bit more of your confidence as defenders. And again, bringing it to this bitter end of max OT potentially. But minute 10 left, nobody's dropped yet. More bullets are fired, but nothing is catching, and at the minute it's just holding on. The first drop, and it is Habana. The hard destruction is taken off the table. Just manages to find the Maestro though, and that is 2 very big takes for both teams to suffer.
Yeah, huge takes indeed. Maestro and Habana off the board so early on. That's huge amounts of utility gone before we get this last minute over with. And K6 still holding this door down onto painting. See what he can do, but then we go. Drones are going to go out ahead of him to try and confirm his entry, as Lion playing around the hatch could actually drop off in a bit, but no, he's going to be looking the wrong way. Someone just passed this door. It's like 2 ships sailing in the night. They just go right past each other. That is unfortunate.
You hate to see it, but I guess that's the joy of being omnipotent as we are, and omniscient. Being able to see all these mistakes live on Xtreme. Lion is now desperately trying to push wide, and there goes K6. Alive finds Renshiro, but we're down to that final 10 seconds. They have to find a way to get this diffuser in and get it on comfortably. The goo goes down, and yet they still plant through it. It just has to stick it. And the stick goes through. There it is, Xtreme. Hold the bombs. And yet again, we're on max OT.
So I want to go back as well, just a little bit before people start calling me out. So there was Lion on the Valkyrie sitting in the living room, and someone walked past him in the hallway, right? But the door was actually barricaded when they walked past, so it wasn't actually a complete disaster. But I mean, he could have still got the kill because he could have been like prone watching the angle in the hallway. But still, you know, it's just whatever.
There it goes.
We're going back to Trophy Statue for our final round.
Well, this is Xtremes to take. Now, they're already up a map, but this is them kind of going for it. This is them having to take this. Frost is back on the board again. I know we had a very brief discussion. The 6th of Blackbeard to Blackbeard happens. Well, the strats are coming out now. But can Xtreme should find the 1 more round to give themselves an easier evening, or a Supremacy wanting 1 more map?
So, moving through into overtime match point. This is looking interesting coming out here now. What do you think of the situation here, right? Like, you're in overtime match point. It looked like Renshiro tried to do something differently there with the 6th pick, but then eventually was just like, okay, fine, we'll just stick with the Blackbeard. We're just going to roll with it. We still did well here. We still did take an attack. So, I don't know how this is going to work out for Xtreme here. Supremacy just had such a dominant defense last time with Alive.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that can only kind of fill you with more and more confidence. You can see that they're putting a bit more immediate pressure against where Dejus is, who's flicking around cameras. If they get him quick enough, no, they put a bit of fire through, and that allows Dejus to just kind of hold it tight. We can hear the bullets and the pressure being thrown across on the opposite side, and the familiar opening a bedroom here. Nobody from Supremacy is currently going for a cross peek, but look at where Alive and Poseidon are. Buried on the opposite side of the map, ready to strike from range if need be. They are reveling is the way that word is pronounced, in the comfort and the safety of the breadth of this map.
That was a lot of words.
And I said some of them wrong as well.
Yeah, you get that.
I know, I'm trying my best.
You grew up in London, so... Yeah.
I did. We aren't really taught words that I'm allowed to say. Here comes the pressure. Poseidon's holding red stairs now, and as I said, they were wide. They were pretty deep as well. They're ready to kind of collapse back towards point, but the first taste of the point is opened up by the Habana, who has so far survived. To be fair, time has been a bit of an issue for both these teams. Yogurt's going for a bit of a jump-in, jump-out battle there against Dijus, who is currently locked down inside Astro and has been a pretty big force. In no case, Six finds Lion through the Habana hole. And Renshiro tries to get revenge, but Lion is actually pushed further along. Sees the Claymore, can't go any deeper, and just finds Yogurts, and that's another one for the defense. This is starting to slip away from Xtreme. More Habana pellets go off in the face of Renshiro. Hope it doesn't blow off too much of his eyebrows, but he is still holding fast, getting an angle between the middle of the wall. And that's just a tight shotgun hold there against that door. A minute left. That purely plays into the hands of the attackers, but it's pointless if you don't start doing something with it.
It is slightly pointless indeed. 40 seconds left to go. Flashbangs are going to go. K6 goes full white. That is not good at all. But K6 is not going to get pushed out of this zone. Flashbangs are going to continue to go down into the site, and they cannot find their entry just yet. No members of Supremacy gone off the board. They don't seem to know he's in the corner here. There we go. He does go down. Eventually, Volley takes him off the board. He does have Diffuser in hand. He has a clear opportunity to plant. But Poseidon could be able to take him off the board as he attempts to do so. Alive still below. I believe Alive does still have a Nitro Cell in hand. And yes, he does. He's going to throw it out. It's not going to connect. However, 10 seconds left to go. Boy gets hit with a Lesion Mine. This isn't good. But there we go. Tassis going to go down before he can make anything happen. Deagle just come out from Renshiro, but they can't make anything go through there, as it's all down to Live in a 3v1. But no, he can't let the magic happen. Supremacy takes round number 15, and they will bring us to our decider of Coastline.
Well, that was a lot of rounds that ended via time throughout that game. And from the first one where we talked about how often the diffuser went down and how much these guys can put that thing down where it came from, or needs to be, it never went down at all throughout this entire map. There wasn't a single round where the diffuser planted. It was either ended by blood or just by time, just by not doing enough.
So also, there seems to be some confusion. During round number 14, the plant started to go down, but the guy who was planting was Lesion Mined. And I just want to... So, like, that's not how the Lesion Mine works. Some people seem to think you can't plant when you've been goo mined. What he did is, as you plant the diffuser, you start to go into a crouching animation, and that's when he hit the Lesion Mine. And at that point, he can still continue to plant. He doesn't have to take it out. I'm not sure why he stopped the plant. I don't know if he got injured or something like that. But yeah, you can stick the plant through a goo mine if it happens like that. You can't put the diffuser down if you go into the Lesion Mine and then you try and put it down. But you can do it if you are in. But we are going to go to our side of map here of Coastline. Bit of an interesting map for these two teams because we haven't seen them played against each other before.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is, I think, what I'm most excited about. And I know we've talked about map preferences and what they can kind of play into and what they don't play into. The aggression that can often come as a reward from Coastline and how these guys have been playing these previous maps so far. I think this is going to be a pretty brilliant map for both teams. I think they know what is kind of up here and they're going to play into that.
So during the season, interesting stat for you, Xtreme won Coastline twice. Once against Epsilon, 7-5. And I believe the second time they won against Death Row. Yeah, they won against Death Row. So, and that was 7-4. So they've had a pretty successful run at Coastline so far. I'm not so sure to say for Supremacy, honestly. I mean, I'm looking through their maps that they've played, and I can't see Coastline through here unless I'm mistaken. I don't think... Oh, no. They played Coastline against what would become Ghost Skiller, but they were ex-Nuriki at the time, and they won that 7-4. So we haven't seen these two teams play against each other on Coastline and CCS. I'm not 100% sure about... Well, no, they haven't played against each other in Challenge League either, but I'm not sure how many times these guys have played Coastline in Challenge League either. But, you know, this could be a very, very interesting map. We are currently doing a coin flip right now to decide who gets what side
It's dramatic.
going into the final map.
It's one of the joys of the decider map is obviously it does come down to that kind of coin flip. It is all being sorted. It is all being decided. And as we go through in the map, I believe it opted to start on the attack. First time today.
So, this is kind of traditionally an attacker-sided map, mostly because you don't have to bring such hard utility that you would have to bring otherwise. But, you know, lately it has been slightly defender-sided in terms of overall competitive statistics. I believe it's about 50-point-something% defender-sided. So, you know, we can see how it can go down. It can go down either way. But I'm honestly not so sure about Coastline here.
You know, as I said, we've kind of talked about how Xtreme has been playing throughout this entire thing, and they've been really, really solid, and they kind of have been thriving in a bit of the unknown, a bit of the creativity, and a bit of the aggression. But at the same time, we just saw Alive get an ace in pure aggression, starting from what was close to a spawn peak, you know, and you kind of think this is both teams. Teams are lighting up in a play style that Coastline enjoys, and at this point, I have no idea who could come out on.
So Xtreme did play Coastline against Vitality in the Challenger League season. They lost 7-3 to Vitality there. I'm not so sure about Supremacy, and Xtreme also played against Eminem on Coastline. They drew 6-6. So I kind of want to favor Xtreme just a slight bit here because it's probably going to favor attack more. And, you know, Xtreme Video very much play into attack and play into aggression, and there's a little bit more you can do with that on Coastline. But really, this is anyone's map.
Yeah, but here we'll see the ban phase go through. Now, Nomad and Clash have been Supremacy's bans every time. I don't see any reason for that to change.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Nomad and Clash again for them. But Xtreme, a little bit of a different story with their bans. It really could go any way they want it to. The last time they played Coastline, they banned Valkyrie and Dockerby against Death Row. So, kind of interesting bans from them. I think they will ban the Dockerby. No.
Blackbeard.
That's really weird.
That's really weird. I was just thinking, because obviously we said Xtreme Video are attacking now. I know, guys, normally blue attacks first. It's confusing me as well. Bless you, Thurnab.
I'm just allergic to Blackbeard bans.
Allergic to Blackbeard bans from Xtreme Video as well. Valk off as well. Okay, they did get the Valk ace. I think that's a fair removal on this point as well. For a team especially that is kind of, as we said, thriving in those very aggressive spawn peaks that Xtreme aren't even beginning to dabble in. Does this change it to a mirror ban here, though? No. Gonna stick on the Clash.
Yeah, I mean, mirror ban can be pretty effective on Coastline, but it's not. It's actually essential. And I'd say the only sites it really changes is Blue Bar and Penthouse.
I mean, obviously, Penthouse is the one where pre-bans, you would see it as a lot of people's pick, a lot of people's first go-to. They would always bring Mirror. They would always keep it locked off and keep your eyes across the point. And then they got rid of her, and then that was it. And then you would rotate to Hookah first. You go to Billiards first instead. There's a lot of other options for you to bring. But I was about to say it's the first time we saw a Monty today, and they've swapped off.
Hopefully we'll get a chance for that later.
Capitao and Finka. I'm actually quite happy to see Finka back on the board because now we talked about being able to see Finka earlier, and unfortunately we didn't really see too much of an effect or too much of an impact from it.
So, sorry, you go.
No, that's fine. What I was gonna say, I quite like the use of castle at this point. That was generally what I was gonna say. I was gonna lead into a castle discussion, but we can go back to Finka discussion if you want. I'll have a look at my discussions book.
I mean, I think it worked pretty well on Oregon. I I don't see it working well here just because of the smoke. Like, Finka has the ability to completely destroy your entire team.
Yep.
I mean, that's really what there is to it. So, Finka, when there's a smoke on the board, is really risky to do. And I can't see why he's taking it any clearly right now. Unless he's just feeling the Finka. I mean, maybe he's just feeling it. And that's going to go well for him. But we are going to see how it is going to be go down. As we are going to move further in now into round number 1. And, yeah. As I said, kind of attacker sided. So, we are going to see a Billiards defense to start with. And again, like we didn't see Mirror ban on Oregon. And we hardly ever saw Mirror come out. And we're not seeing Mirror come out here either. We're actually going to go to Billiards. And it's kind of one of those defenses very default. This is normally what you want to see first. But it's going to be K6 who kicks things off on the kill onto Lion. That's Diffuser down as well. Great kill from K6 coming out very early on. Good. But Void will trade it back pretty much instantly. As he will go down. Now it's a 4v4 and that's a Nitro off the board as well. And that's all the Nitros off the board for Supremacy. So not looking too good for them, but they do still have plenty of partner now in the form of smokes. And of course the Echo drones that are available to them. Drones are going to start coming out from the attack, however. And see exactly what they are going to be able to go down as leashes are going to go down to the Hooker doorway. But there we go, Renshiro still repelling outside of the Hooker deck to see what he can do. As Finkerbuff is going to go out and they're going to be able to try and get some picks early on here. You really don't want to push in while that Finkerbuff is active because of course Poseidon can just demolish your entire team with those smokes going out as he will start to do so. Not looking too good at all. Yogus is going to rotate all the way around and see what he can do on the balcony here. Still nades are going to go out from the Thinkers as well from Renshiro. Satis and Deja still playing it very safely, but Void has actually made his way downstairs. Slowly push up the cool vibes with a great nade coming out from Void. Is going to take down Taxis and is going to eliminate him as well. There we go. Void is going to take it down. And now it's a 3v4. Capital Bolts are going to come down trying to push out anyone they can. The last second Finker, Adrenal Surge is going to come out. Poseidon's going to shut down Yogus before he can do much. Renshiro is going to find Dejas in return. However, Poseidon makes his way all the way to the site. Renshiro's out of it. And Live does find Void. Now it's a 2v1 situation. All down to Live and he speaks to the Diffuser. And sees what he can do. Still got plenty of utility left remaining as the Capitao moves all the way into Sunrise Bar. Still very clutchable. With 20 seconds left to go. He is really running out of time. Cool Vibes is a clear target for him to try and move up. If he does decide to go no Barber or anything like that. But he's going to give his position away with some free fires at hip fire level. And sees exactly the situation is good. So Capital Bolts are going to go down. But he gets wide peeked out by Alive. And Supremacy will take round number 1 here on Coastline. Very good 2v1 clutch situation, but denied to him. Liven will go down as the Cool Vibes push to come through. And yeah, I feel like a lot of that attack was really stalled out by the smoke in the end.
Well, I mean, it's one of those kind of positions, one of those kind of things. I will say, a fun fact, Cool Vibes, maybe my favorite call in the entire Siege. I think it's just the best call, but you know, it's one of those starts, those defenses, and I'm curious to see how they responded. And I know you said think less of a pick, but they're rolling with her again.
So round number 2 getting underway. They are going to see a blue bar and a sunrise bar defense coming out from Supremacy this time. And for this defense, I really thought we were going to see the mirror.
And yet she remains hidden.
It's interesting because I talked about earlier during the first round that we didn't see the mirror ban on Oregon, and we pretty rarely saw the mirror coming out there as well.
Yeah, I guess it's the thing about it with how these teams like to respond, and I know it's often cited is when mirror's banned, teams are used to it. Teams prepare for mirror to be banned, especially on a map like Coastline. You kind of go in with the idea that, hey, she's not going to be there. Why plan strategies for mirror? She's not going to be there. And then when she's not banned, teams kind of go, oh, maybe we should just play like she's not there. Like, they don't rotate her back in because they develop their strats so intently with the idea that she's not going to be there. And then we've already spoken about Supremacy being quite a strat, comfortable and confident team. I really like that Maestro plays.
I didn't realize you could do that.
No, neither did I.
Because the people normally put it on the wall in courtyard, but yeah,
Hmm.
wow, that's cool. I like that. So, let's see how it's gonna go down. The fishes are gonna start to come out from Xtreme as they take control of the west side of the map. But on the aquarium balcony, Alive is gonna be out, and Lion is gonna go down, but not out just yet. Impacts are gonna try and come out, but Pokemon can't catch them all just yet. Lion is actually gonna get finger buff. He's gonna get put up as Alive. He's gonna pick it out. He will not get a kill just yet. There we go. Alive does secure the kill onto Lion. And that's a 5v4. That's already IQ off the board.
See Alive, as you said, it's a player who's really kind of come into their own, especially in the last map, and they are not ready to throw away the chance to get the big bucks here. K6 is going to rotate upstairs, offer some support, as well as when Shiro and Yogurts dig their way through into Hookah and start going down Cool Vibe stairs. Instantly going to obviously find a firefight, but they've still got to be very much well aware that they have not taken control. Liven at least managed to drop Poseidon, and that is the smoke. And we've already spoken about how big smoke was in the first round. Just finds Liven, and that cap his tower off. No smokes today. No smokes allowed.
No smokes allowed at all. Poseidon going to go down, and that is a big kill. You still have Rinshiro on the finger on the border. Drone Soldiers can come out with impunity now. And grenades are going to come out from Void. Convinced there's someone behind the Sunrise bar. He's going to detonate the Capcan trap. That's going to do significant damage to him. Unfortunately, it's going to come out, bounce it off the Sunrise door. Does hit, but doesn't connect just yet. As he's going to go down. Tatis is down, but not out just yet. As there we go. He is going to get executed, but no! Oh, for Gloy's greediness, he's going to go down for it. Yogurt's unable to trade him just yet. He is the only one left remaining on Xtreme's board. In a 1v3 clutch situation, they just will execute him, and Yogurt's still holding down. Convinced there's someone behind the Sunrise bar. He does still have 2 Zofia charges left, and can make his way through. Fisherman do great work as they try and get early confirmation kills, but no, not able to find anything just yet. But she's right through onto the door. Oh my god, he is alive just dark on the door there. As Yogurts tries to find him with a pre-fight. Going through onto the couch to see what he can do. Oh, he sees alive, but he's going to hop out. And he's going to go down. That's unfortunate. As Yogurts is going to confirm the kill. 2v1, 15 seconds left to go. Still does have that utility available to him, but he's going to be able to try and make his way through this crossfire set up perfectly from K6 and Dejuz. And Dejuz is going to be the one who does confirm it. Supremacy take round number 2 efficiently.
Nice kind of way. Again, what we're seeing a lot of these rounds come down to is, yeah, they're getting the frags at the end, but it always is dying seconds, that 10-15 second period where we've still got maybe 4 operators on the board across the 2 teams, and the way this keeps breaking down is they're really kind of trying to get themselves set up. And I think that is what is working in Supremacy's favor, is they're very happy to throw an operator and throw Alive at the early kind of stage of this round and kind of cripple Xtreme before they can even begin to get their set up for their execute.
Round number 3 getting underway now as we see a kitchen service entrance defense coming out from Supremacy. What do you think of this? I mean, this Finker strat, I really don't think has worked very well.
It's not kind of getting the ground I think they hoped it to be getting. Obviously, we did see the pickup on IQ that was nice, but it wasn't effective. She was instantly put back down again. I think their problem at the minute is they're kind of allowing them to have a bit too much freedom around this map. They're still kind of going with a bit of a close push, a bit of a kind of conceited effort against the point itself. And I think at this point you need to start thinking, okay, well, where we're struggling is this early phase. They're able to get these runouts in these positions and this movement, and how can we start finding ways to close that down, close down those rotations and close down and catch them out, really. And I think that's, you know, me, that's what they need to start looking at swapping that Finker out for. Maybe be a attempt at trying to slow it down, but there's a lot of possibility for a team that can be as coordinated as they can.
Round number 3 getting underway now. See exactly how that is going to go through. As, yeah, Lion is already going to find that Andrew kill. K6 is going to go down as Lion makes his way all the way into the offices. Finker buff going out very, very early on to concede on that attack. And that's Legion off the board, and that's already one of the counters from Finker off the board early on.
Comes a bit more kind of pressure, as we said. Alive, who has been kind of floating around and enjoying the freedom. He's trying to find a drone. There it is. So those him a little bit of worry, but Lion does what he does best. Manages to find another frag, start pushing even more. You can see Ranchiro droning just ahead of his feet, enough to kind of get himself in a more kind of comfortable position, start putting pressure against it. Obviously, they are leading this push without any hard destruction at all, and it's not the worst idea. There's not normally a huge amount that you need to crack open. Having that soft above with Buck or Zafir is much more important than utilizing those smokes for a push as well. But Poseidon is finding the area that he can kind of swim around and closing down quite quickly.
Holding on where he can. The pick buff is going to go out as well. That adrenal surge is going to go through the members of Xtreme as they move in, but Tazis shuts him down regardless. There goes Ranchiro, but there goes the smoke as well. And now all down to Dejas all of a sudden. Still Nitro in hand, of course, good to find the fight and does win it out. Goes for the down, but not out on the Zofir of Yogurts. He is going to get confirmed. Dejas trying to peek it out again, but unfortunate, unable to confirm the kill. Lion will take it down. And that is an ace.
That's an ace. Second ace of the day. I think maybe the second ace I've seen across all of the CCS stuff I've done so far this season. I think. Could be wrong about that.
Which ace is it? Is it which?
I would say that was probably a hearts. A lot of love in that kill.
What was Alive's ace like then?
Alive's ace was clubs, because he just clubbed the heck out of them.
I like how you looked down at your notes for that one, as if you'd already preemptively.
You guys can't see it, but I looked down at my notes for that, and I'm framing clubs. I've drawn a picture of Alive, the actual player as well. I've drawn a.
Nice. Very nice. Good note taking coming out
Thank
from
you.
Captain Fluke there as we move into round number 4, and we see another billiards room defense coming out from Supremacy. And this was pretty successful for them last time.
It was. This is the go-to first point for a lot of teams nowadays. It's a comfortable one to play in, and this is the first time we've seen Supremacy open this game with a defense as well. And we've talked about Xtreme kind of pushing maps a little bit further than a lot of other teams have done today, but Supremacy have been playing very much into the ballpark that we are familiar with seeing, and this is a ballpark point. This is the game. This is the place. This is where you know you're going to go and what you're going to see, and they're comfortable and confident to pull it off.
They are confident and loving it right now. Supremacy, this just seems to be a much more comfortable map for them. And as I said, like, the Thinker strat clearly just hasn't been working for Xtreme, and they have now changed it out. But this is being a slightly defender-sided map as of recently. You normally do see that 4-2 or 3-3 score line, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see that coming out of it. But I did say in the lobby that they should favor Xtreme just because of their aggressive playstyle, and that they have had a pretty good record on it. So,
yeah, I mean, it's, you know, we've seen them light up so well aggressively sometimes. Obviously, they've been max OT both maps so far, but when they've shone is when they've been just confident and happy to move. I think the differences we're generally seeing is in players like Alive. And I know I keep harking back to him, but he's really just tearing them apart by being more confident, by going for those wider peaks and going for those wider movements that if you don't have that, you know, it's, a friend of mine says it's 90% confidence. And, you know, this is what we are seeing.
Also, just looking at Supremacy's maps across Challenger League as well, they've only played Coastline once, and they lost it to Vitality. So, not. Dejas is, however, going to find Voy, and Lion instantly traces it out as he gets a double kill out of it. You know, the blue bar. Lion takes down Dejas in K6, and looking much, much better for Xtreme here, as it is now a 4v2 situation. Smokes are continuing to go out as Capital Smoke Bolt is going to go down onto the rotate to stop him from pulling up any Stewie 2K moves.
Obviously, Diffuser was down for a while as well. Yogurts has picked it up, and they've gone for a slight differing approach here. Alive again, trying to find someone across the top. The bars just keep them a little bit obscured there as another smoke goes off. Alive does find Livin and finds Lion as well. The pair for Alive. A couple of bullets through the wall against Yogurts, and Poseidon drops it down with a shotgun. You can hear the pings are constant never-ending and traumatizing as Alive finds yet another one.
Alive with the UMP single-handedly just dismantling the attack coming out. Wow, that is upsetting to say the least, especially with the UMP as well. This man just seems to dismantle attacks with the weirdest weapons, but he's 6-2 right now. He's doing very, very well for himself, and that is a stark comparison to his performance on Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of just see that he's really found his ground, and it is really helping Supremacy as well, because he's one of those players that is very much a talisman player for the team. When he starts to light up, the rest of the kind of Supremacy can kind of move in that wake. They kind of get a bit of the confidence and get a bit of the swagger, and it all translates to better play for them. And shutting him down is the key. It's like when you stack against people and they have one dude that's like diamond and the rest are like fours, but they play so good together.
That's an entire
That's an extreme example. I don't mean that. They're obviously all diamonds.
Right.
But, okay, let me go. Alright, a different example.
Let's just... Yeah.
You know when they had high diamonds and standard diamonds?
Yes.
That's a nice way of putting it. He's a pink diamond.
He's a pink diamond.
He's a pink
He's
diamond.
a ruby in the diamond
Ruby
pile.
diamonds pile. This is a very mixed diamond pile that we have here.
Wait, we're just gonna move on. Anyway, round number 5 getting underway, and we'll see a blue bar defense again. No mirror coming out, but last time they didn't need it. Supremacy are doing very, very well in these defenses. And if we see 5 rounds from Supremacy on these defense, I don't see how Xtreme takes back, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough position to be in, and I think what's kind of helped Xtreme on their starting on the defenses is they've been able to be a bit more unpredictable. They've been able to throw the rounds into these greater sense of chaos, which has worked very well. Whereas now that they're pushing against more kind of formulated defenses that are more familiar, they haven't been able to get that kind of chaotic control that has worked so well for them, and they've suffered. And yeah, it's a split game. It's a split kind of set of points and rounds. They're going to have all those rounds to come back. We've already seen a 6-2 comeback before from the opponents, but their playstyle feeds into that chaos. And if they give Supremacy the ground to get comfortable and confident before they get their attacks, we might see a better Supremacy attack.
It's interesting that Alive hasn't made like any kind of rotate here, despite the fact that he does indeed have that impact grenade in his back pocket. I thought he was going to kind of play around this area aggressively, but it looks like he's just saving that impact grenade. Rotates he might need to have later on. And Poseidon is going to be playing down onto cool vibes. However, Alive is playing pretty aggressively right now, honestly, and I guess he's very confident right now.
That's it. He's kind of breathing in that atmosphere. You can see he has been shut down by Renshiro though, but think of it as a minute and a half is already gone. They've used at least some of their utility to do that, and they are all stacked trying to get control above as well. They still have a lot to go up against, and to be fair, last time they pushed this point, it did come back to a 1 versus 2 kind of situation, but there was a crossfire set up, and it was a 1 versus 3 even, and it was a crossfire set up. It was very comfortable and confident for them, and now it's just they've got to do still a lot more work ahead for Xtreme.
Yeah, a lot of work ahead indeed. Now 5v4 situation. Lyman just holding down where he can, almost missing the rotate, but Yogurts will pick up the slack, and Poseidon will go down for it. That's the smoke off the board. So early on, yet again coming up from Supremacy's line. Holding down to the office is waiting for the rotate from K6, but it's going to be Dejus who does peek it out and shuts him down. It was a 3v4 situation. I think above Adrenal Surge is going to go out. Renshiro opting for that attack as Yogurts takes down K6 and does find Dejus almost through the wall, but there we go. Dejus is going to get away with it on just a sliver of HP, and another Adrenal Surge coming out as Yogurts tries to push all the way in. Of course, these Adrenal Surges going out with impunity right now, so the smoke and leashing both on the board. Taxis just holding it down with the suppressor LMG Alder as he sees everyone just running to the side, but he can't find the kills. It's all down to him in a 1v4, but no. Renshiro through the wall is gonna gun him down before he can do anything. Xtreme video take round number 5, and Renshiro's using the GSH.
Yeah. He's been running the LMG all day, I believe.
Well, he's running the GSH pistol rather than PMM.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't really listening.
Nice, thanks, man.
But no, that's actually, yeah, because the PMM is a monster. The PMM is like one of the most kind of solid side pistols that you can kind of run with, especially as well. But yeah, I hey, you know, we've already said enough about what Finker is doing wrong in the kind of lineup and what that could be. I don't want to stoke that fire again. So I think if we even start kind of breaking down what Finker's bringing, we might never find the end to this pit.
The end of the pit.
That's my worry. 3-2.
I mean, there is limited OT for this, you know?
Yeah.
If this was the finals, I would be worried. I'm also slightly worried you said that, because I agreed to do the NA finals tomorrow.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like maybe a little bit foolishly as well.
Yeah, it's never going to end. Are we going for a record?
Potentially.
Imagine if the teams, they just decided, they were like, hey, we're just going to try and see how long we can go. We've agreed.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
We want to do a marathon.
Finally see Mirror coming out.
Yeah, finally, and I really like that mirror point. Obviously, we talk about how important mirror is on the point directly above this, where you can kind of get control of Penthouse and keep eyes on Penthouse, which is such a monster of a corner and a bed to be buried behind. But having it along that service and giving yourself a bit more of a sight line is just such a useful bit of utility to have. It's such a useful kind of sight line to keep. Now, the last time we pushed this, Lion did end up with an ace. Pushing in from office and just creeping all the way across. Uses the Grismots there to crack the ADS on the window. Still obviously has the aggressive lifelines and frags and impacts left, but Alibi is the one that is keeping a little bit of a watch there. But is she real? Who knows?
Who knows, indeed. Renshiro getting so lit up right now as he's trying to push all the way in, but
Activating
wow,
adrenaline
this is not
surge.
looking too good at all. Another Finker buff is going to try and go successfully. He's tried to push down on the Lamborghini doorway, but Alive is going to meet him there, opening that door up and shutting Renshiro down. The Finker, who's been kind of a weird crux of Xtreme's attack, is going to go down instantly.
It's, you know, the way it goes again in the Black Pit. Let's not get into that. Yogurt suffers a fair bit of damage, so that's the diffuser. A minute 40, that's plenty of time. But obviously losing one of your operators is never good. They've cracked the mirror open and forced Tactus to go deep against those pots and pans and try and hold on as they get a sightline through to Blue Bar and see if anybody is brave enough or ballsy enough to go across. And they are, but they do not suffer any consequences. Alive, however, is pretty injured and just finds Yogurt as well. That is the Zafir taken off too. They are really just limiting this push here, and it looks to be more and more of a 4-2. Lion wants to push and fire at the same time. The Grismot's going to make it a little bit, the Goomine's going to make it a little bit tougher even, but they still have a lot of possibility. Just going to take it and tank it, but no! Alive and K6 find kills apiece, and it is now just Aliven against a 5-stack.
Against the world.
Against the world.
Alive just push all the way in. Quick peeking around Lamborghini doorway. Can't find a kill, but no. Alive again. The king of the door is going to take him down. Alive goes down, and we see a 4-2 score line as Supremacy moves into the second half of Coastline. So we now see Supremacy on the attack, and I feel like they're not going to run Finker every round like Xtreme did. Well, actually, no. There was one round Xtreme didn't run the Finker, but still, there was quite a lot to Finker about.
Oh god,
that was
there
on the spot. I wasn't
I
even
know
thinking about
it
that.
was, and I didn't realize it until I had a coherent thought about what I was going to say next, and it was so good that I've forgotten the analysis. I was
Completely
about to
thrown
do.
off my co-caster.
I've
Excellent.
been thrown now. Thank you very much. You take
So,
it back over.
Probably not going to be any Finker from Supremacy. It's not really a tactic they use. They are going to be running the Dokkaebi, which is interesting because Xtreme banned Dokkaebi quite a lot.
They're not. They don't really enjoy going up against her. They don't really intend to utilize her too much. They're kind of happy to just, you know, take her off the battlefield and leave her out there and face other foes. And I think their kind of tactics is happy to make that a problem for them, make them uncomfortable in their defense. Because as we've already said, Xtreme are a team that kind of enjoys being quite violent and quite aggressive in what they're doing and the movements that they're making, and throwing them off that and making them feel uneasy is how they're going to take these last couple of rounds. As I said, we've already seen a 6-2 coming down today, but it's the other way around. Can Xtreme pull their way back through this, or is it going to be Supremacy's comeback of comebacks?
I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Supremacy are going to pull their way back through this. I think Su It could be the comeback of comebacks. I mean, I kind of thought that Supremacy would eventually take the game and that Xtreme would take Oregon eventually, and it's kind of how it has been. You predicted kind of a clean 2-0 from Xtreme, and we almost got there.
Yeah. But
we didn't quite. It has turned into quite the game it has been, as Yogus is going to try and move out into DJ, see what he can do. He does hear the shots coming out from Tatis, but can't confirm anything just yet. But he has got control of DJ. This is a really aggressive angle to hold onto, but Xtreme have really been known, especially Yogus, as being the guy who's been this aggressive, but alive. He's just been popping off these last 2 maps. We'll punish him for it.
Yeah, alive, really, not taking any prisoners there, and instantly moved off and almost caught Renshiro fire his legs. The pulse being taken from a man on the other side of a wall could be, well, not a great way to go for your information up there, but he's going to pull back slightly further. No, he's going to actually go back into the toilets. Was going to hold lobby for a little bit and keep picking that service door information. Here comes the calls that want to make some movements downstairs. Pops the shots straight through. Just going to get rid of the doorway and say now to feel comfortable moving across this door. Still have Void watching that mirror, but here's the sledge and there's the spots coming through. They want to see for it. Bit too wide, unfortunately. Bit too wide and a bit on the wrong side.
I think he was trying to predict where he would try and sledge next. And it makes sense for him to sledge there because that's right next to the drone hole, but yeah, unfortunate. He is going to guess wrong, but Lion playing on the Rook ACOG is going to try and peek out aggressively behind the lobby. As Void is going to take out Deja. It's looking pretty even right now at 4v4. Supremacy still with a pretty great opportunity because they do have upstairs control. And if you have upstairs control, you could basically make the Mirror useless. But Mirror is going to get a kill herself. K6 goes down, but Alive is going to get a kill onto Renshiro. Void popping off right now on the Mirror.
Yeah, really just using these holes in their complete benefit. Obviously out of Nitro Cell, you can see more soft coming through, and there is Sophia, somehow not suffering much, but Dakabi in the meantime has just dug her way through onto point, letting the others battle it out elsewhere and using her cool surfboard vibes to find her way back through to point. And it is now Lion and Livin that are slightly out of the way of A, but need to find their way back through, waiting for her to go a little bit wide.
If he Zofia charges, he can get him off the counter defuse. So you can just sit here and just play with the Zofia charge if he really wants to play it safe. But it was like Lion's actually good for the run out. He can't see him! The half wall's blocking him, but there we go. He goes for the tape, but no, he'll go down for it. And Poseidon with a clutch! Oh my god, the 2v1 clutch from Old Man Poseidon himself is gonna bring it in. Oh my god, the whiff, but he brings it in.
He was so close to getting that
1
defuse
HP in a
off.
dream.
So close.
Poseidon's always been, we saw it during the season, like where he seems like, oh, he's just playing like hard support. He's not playing these important roles. He's not traditionally known as the fragger on the team, but when he needs to show up, he shows up. We saw him get a 3K as a 1v3 on Bank earlier in the season. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it was wild. And he is consistently the guy that can show up when he needs to, and that is exactly the opportunity he needed to.
Yeah, that's it. He's your no pressure operator when things start to look a little bit off kilter, a little bit off balance. And in that situation, obviously having Laycock trying to pick you from wide there and knowing that they're working the defuse as well, it's just to pull that out of the bag and find the win from it is solid play. But we are going to rotate to blue instead. Blue and Sunrise they're going to try and hold on to. And again, very similar loadouts, if not the same, from both teams.
I'm still getting over how well Poseidon played that. Like, now I'm thinking it over in my mind. What I talked about with the Zofia charge, he shouldn't have done that. And, you know, he didn't do it because he was prone. And if you're prone, not only are you going to get Zofia charge, but they're going to know that you're right next to them, and they can just jump out the window and kill you. And on top of that, he's got his gun out, he's facing the jump out. That's the only place he can get fragged from, because if you run out of Sunrise, you can't quite see them. And we already saw that being demonstrated from Lion. So yeah, like, Poseidon played that so well. And yeah, well, we'll see Xtreme not looking too good right now in a 5-2 scoreline, but we saw this exact situation on Villa.
And we did, and you know, it kind of got a little bit dicey, and they managed to pull their way back, and the team that were in the deficit came away with the win after max OT. Void kills Yogurt.
He was trying to steal his kill, you know? It's like in ranked when someone plays your angle, you're like,
Yeah.
get out of here.
You know, never take another man's angle. How dare
Exactly.
you? Gonna kill you, even though there's a lot of money on the line. It's, you know,
You gotta have something to stand by, you know?
Yeah, you gotta have your morals. Putting pressure alive again, one of those players
Drone's
that's
ready.
really a driving force behind this team. Missed through the drone and tried to get it back just as the wall started to get popped open, which would have been hilarious, but also kind of traumatic. As Tactis starts digging straight across the open center of the courtyard. They've already kind of found themselves in there, puts some bullets in, and just finds Void. Suddenly we're on a 5-1. And that was epic and flawless. Oh. We'll kind of look towards the way that they kind of held that and the way that they kind of pushed that. Kind of the decisions that they made towards it and the decisions that they made towards kind of, I guess, killing their teammate doesn't put them in a great stead. Obviously, the momentum has shifted. I am curious to see if they bring a mute, like my co-caster has done to himself here. But it will be interesting to see where that kind of translates towards the rest of the game.
I was saying that Cactus gets like 2 kills from this courtyard angle. Like insanely well done from him to push off of that. But yeah, you are right. It just seems like Xtreme don't have the endurance that Supremacy do, and they've completely fallen off as a team. I mean, we're seeing really base mistakes being here, like TKing people, because I think what happened is that he went for the pre-fire through the door as Yogurt walked across, and yeah, that's just unlucky. I'm honestly kind of surprised that Renshiro is the one playing the dock here, because he's kind of like one of those guys who's great at ACOG angle holding, which I know sounds like the easiest thing in the world to do, but this man is like the god of it.
You gotta have good reactions, you gotta have good balance with guns. Being, you know, finding a way to fill a void that is so far suffering the team, it's just unfortunate. But
no castle.
Castle. No, nothing that they're going to kind of use to slow it down. To be fair, we're seeing a lot of Ash and Sledge almost every single, and Zofia almost every single round. But again, taking a bit of utility would be good.
No castle, but also no like nitros to hide from below. No real plant denial at all. But there we go. Renchero is going to go down instantly from that rappel onto the balcony. That's not a great way to start off, losing your Renchero that early on. That's also really going to affect your like kind of late game utility, because that was kind of really the only plant denial they actually had was the Maestro cams.
Yeah, it just kind of, you know, now they are nothing more than fancy cameras, but it just gives the feeling that, as you said, Xtreme have just kind of had the wind taken out from their sails. They're struggling, they're a little bit sluggish compared to what we've seen them doing before, and at this point, for Supremacy that have done the opposite, they're just heated up. They're able to pick apart these defenders and catch them and move them, and they are the counter to that balance in that they've only got more and more energetic as these pushes go on.
Flashbangs aren't going to come out in force here. As Lyman just going to be holding down where he can. Yoga's going to be playing around coaches as well, but not looking too good at all. Zofia below is going to empty her impacts out from below, but Alive is going to be the one who does find the kill. Yogas is out of it, and it's all down to Void and Alive to try and bring it back. Void knows there's someone in Sunrise doing something down there, something suspicious, but he's not going to be able to do much about it. He's actually going to overheal himself. He does get drone out, takes the drone out, and moves up into Cool Visor. Pre-fire, but Alive shuts him down before he can do anything about it. Live will refrag. But it's now a 4v1. Well, that's Alive to try and get the clutch ace to try and bring it in. You will get another kill. K6 goes down. He sees another. Oh my god, Lyman with a great headshot to Poseidon could potentially bring it in. The plant starts to go down from Tatis in the smoke behind the couches. And he's waiting for the rotate. Liven just holding down patiently. Hasn't quite seen the man rotate onto Cool Vibes here. Tactis has got a great position. Pre-fire is coming down from Dejus. His beard cold goes out. Tactis finishes it off as Supremacy take round number 9. And they will take the series after a very long and hard-fought battle. We've seen 2 maps go to maximum rounds, maximum overtime. But eventually Supremacy closes it out with a 7-2 victory here on Coastline. And they will be proceeding to the grand final.
Wow, well, you talk about teams that kind of, you know, they're